you!
You're scared. And you should be.
This is not your company anymore.
Leave the cheek of CM Punk.
Out! Combo move! This is what they've been doing! Hey, McAfee!
Everyone shut the up and sit down!
We got a mom in the front row who taught her daughter how to suck dick!
I'm Mina Shirakawa. I used to be a model. I want to put on a big show.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the Saturday Shenanigans, hosted by yours truly, the Renegade J.J. Williams. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. CM Punk drama bullshit to the side. I still consider Heyman the worst AEW champion they've had. First of all, we're going to bring in Walter Cruz.
I said that as a joke when, what's his name, did his promo Monday. He said, I'm from a prestige university. I said he majored in Steiner, man.
We've got the Heb man, James Hebert, in the house.
I do really cool and dumb things on the internet.
Right. There's a lot of shit going on here. A lot of fucking crazy ass shit.
Where is Noah JD? Well, say his name and he appears, because we believe in Noah Foster.
Fuck is this intro? It is one of those things where, as fans, we do have these desires for what we want to see, but sometimes you can't always get what you want, and there are reasons you truly don't get what you want. I wouldn't even listen to this in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. What the fuck is this shit? God, rapid whack. Like I said, never been a greater time to be a wrestling fan than with more companies in a more lucrative spot, in a more comfortable business spot, in a sense of mind, it seems, than ever. Again, WWE is not the only one. It is not the end-all, be-all. So let's go back to the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams to get the official word. JJ, speak!
Make sure you tune in every week, because you never know who's going to drop in to join the Shenanigans. Catboy is in the house.
Hello, my internet family. I say if you want to make them as evil as possible, make them really mad.
We have Mansfield joining the party now. What is going on, Josh?
Like I told no one when we were in Cleveland, him joining Tracy was just an unfortunate side effect of my shenanigans towards you, JJ. I know how it can get better, Noah. The panel chooses you.
Shut the fuck up, Josh.
You said that so like.
They got some of the intro back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just think how you and I had lunch together the other week.
That was different.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Queen is here. Say his name and he appears. We believe in King A-Train. There are so many believers in Joe Hendry. The only person on this panel that doesn't believe in Joe Hendry is King A-Train. Tell the world why you do not believe in Joe Hendry.
The reason I do not believe Joe Hendry is he is Fandango 2.0 in a entrance merchant. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Hey! There's nothing wrong with being an entrance merchant. He has some of the best entrances of all time.
Teleporting into the command center, all the way from Angel Grove High, Datilla.
Oh, yeah. I went to the command center on Thursday. I went to Vasquez Rocks, which is where they filmed a lot of episodes. Somebody actually climbed to the very top of those rocks. I made it halfway. I was like, I'm not going up there. Definitely Toni Storm versus Mariah May. That's the one match I probably am looking forward to the most. I really like the story. I'm familiar with all about Eve, so if it plays out that way, I kind of know how this is gonna go.
Say goodnight, Datilla.
Good night.
James, you did say his name. So he shall appear, ladies and gentlemen. first time on the Shenanigans. Jeff Meacham is in the motherfucking house.
All right, we're coming in hard with the botch. All right, fucking hell. It's good to be back. It's good to have an opportunity to talk to the crowd on a Saturday.
If you want to have yourself stomach through it, you can go back and watch when the Main Event Mafia took over Impact. That's what James is talking about.
So if everybody just joined us, we're talking about people sedating people, attempted murder, boys, and tips. Welcome to Saturday Shenanigans, everybody. Aren't you glad I'm back?
Welcome back, Jeff.
Cool.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Saturday Shenanigans here across the Simply Reliable Studios channels. I am your host and moderator, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. How is everybody doing tonight? Good to see everybody on a Saturday. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the rest of the panel here. We've got Walter Cruz in the house. We've got Jeff Mother effing Meacham in the house. Jeff is muted.
I think
Okay.
I've adopted the last name Hefner at this point.
Right?
What the fuck are you wearing? What are you doing?
It's cold
Walter
in here.
Hefner over here. Gonna say it's cold for him in Connecticut. It's like it's 53 up here in Victorville. It's cold for us. This dude's probably in like 30s and 40s temperature.
Yeah.
That's valid. Well, I was going to stick around for a little bit longer and talk about one of the topics, but with him wearing his freaking Ducks jersey, I got to get the hell out of here soon. That's bullshit wearing that nonsense. Oh, terrible.
You know what? It was the first thing I could grab this morning when I was doing laundry that had long sleeves. You know, without trying to throw on one of my actual hoodies because, you know, want to save those for during the week when I actually have to go to work.
Yes.
Matt's here. Alicia's here. Good to see everybody. Daniel coming in hard with a super chat right out the gate. $4.35 as WWE and Kevin Owens brought back the pile driver. I mean, if you watched AEW, it's never left. They just brought meaning back to the pile driver.
It never left AEW, but I guess a banned power driver is more powerful than a regular power driver because you could just pop out of a regular one.
Yes.
Seriously, like we won't even get started there. We won't even get started there. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad they brought the pile driver back. They used it strategically. They made it mean something. They're saying that Randy Orton is out for an indefinite amount of time due to the injury sustained, which just means that when he gets that Royal Rumble pop, it's going to be all that much more sweet because no one's going to be expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll kind of be expecting it because we just kind of totally telegraphed that shit, but you know what I mean? Like, as soon as his music hits, it's going to make the crowd go, oh shit. And I do agree. It should have been the package pile driver. It would have been nice to have seen Steen go back to that.
Yeah, it would have actually.
I think they did. I think Punk and Cena did get in trouble for it, but that was also under the Vince regime. And we are way away from that now. Thank God.
Trying to get elevator by myself. We'll see how that works out.
For those of you that don't know, Jeff is actually at the building formerly known as Staples Center at an LA Kings hockey game.
What is it now? Crypto?
Yeah, we don't talk about that. It's like Bruno and you know, and
I still
Contra.
call
We don't
it.
talk about the crypto.com arena.
I still call it the Staples.
It's the building formerly known as the Staples Center.
It just rolls off the tongue easier. Staples.
Right?
Another goal when I don't pay attention.
See, there you go.
So just do shenanigans and don't pay attention to the whole game so they win.
I know, that's what I've been telling him. It's like he jumped in, was like, it's 3-0, and I haven't been in my seat all night. It's like, so keep being on shenanigans until Dad's ready to go home. And they've done good without you there.
Mm.
Yeah, you know Frank Meacham up there in his seats.
I tried to get
The
Celtics
Meacham
season tickets.
pose.
The wait is 15 to 20 years. That's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
You get put on a waiting list when you try to get season tickets, but damn,
Like Club
20 years?
33.
Yeah. You got to get grandfather into that stuff.
Seriously. Jeff may be losing his signal because of where in the building he is. There he goes. Well, it's good to see everybody joining us so far. I hope Noah does show up at some point. I have tried messaging him a couple of times and tagging him.
Me too. I tried to call him and everything.
The only person I knew wasn't going to be here was James. He messaged me privately, gave me his reasons.
Guys, my phone battery's about to die. I'm going to have to go. I'll see y'all later.
All right. James has the night off, but as far as I knew, everybody else was going to be here, so.
We're going to have to pull a you and Noah and do 2 hours with 2 people.
Right? Emmanuel with a $2 super chat. Dirtier move, KO's pile driver or Stranson's stick hit? Stranson's stick hit? I'm not sure what that means.
I don't know what that's referring to either.
Who does that refer to, Emmanuel? Enlighten me, because I'm not sure who that's referring to. Oh, okay. Wolf the Dentist Stanson from D2 when he chopped Coach Bombay during the game of 3-bar. Stanson stick hit because he knew where Bombay was injured and he went right after that move.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody in the chat is RIPing Tony Todd, so yes, we'll go ahead and acknowledge Tony Todd, who played Candyman, passed away yesterday. Not exactly wrestling related, but go ahead and give him his acknowledgments there.
Right after Halloween.
Right?
Imagine if you passed on Halloween, how eerie that would have been.
That would have been kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I only saw Candyman like once, maybe twice. It wasn't one that I watched frequently.
Me neither. And I didn't watch the reboot either.
26.2 miles outside parts unknown is here. Good to see you.
Love that name.
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll get things started. And if Noah joins us and we can get his thoughts on some of these, but going to go ahead. We're just going to start riding through it. This past Wednesday was a Wednesday night war. We had NXT live from the 2300, the old ECW Arena, taking on AEW Dynamite. And while it would be very easy to sit here and nitpick and break down ratings and all that, not going to do that today. I just want to kind of go back to the NXT and get thoughts on that, because in my personal opinion, that was one of the best shows of the year. Any company, start to finish. It started hot and heavy with the Walter heart attack match, and I don't even know how you're able to call the rest of the show after that. Jada Parker and Lola Vice. Jada getting the victory, which shocked me. Then we went into the other matches. We had Wesley and Javon Evans, which was a banner. We had the tag team match, Trick and Bubba versus All Ego Ethan Page and Ridge Holland. We had the return of Nunzio Lil Guido to take on Tony D, and then we ended with a 10-woman tag. So the women started and ended the show, which I thought was great, because that's something that the old ECW would have never had, because if we're being honest, the women in ECW were eye candy. The only exception really is Jazz, and there weren't enough women for her to have a legit like division with and beat the shit out of.
Yep.
She was a diamond in the rough.
She was China before
So,
China.
yeah, for real. Well, no, they were at the same time.
Yeah.
But, you know. So I just kind of wanted to get thoughts about it because, like I said, for me, that was one of the best shows of the year. And maybe it's just because I'm so invested in the NXT product. More so than AEW, more so than TNA, more so than even WWE at this point. So there could definitely be some bias there, but I'm curious what other people's thoughts.
Well, we're on the same page because I'm a little biased too, but I think women in general stole that night. Like, I love this for the women. The fact that they gave the first ever hardcore women's match and they just let them go. The only issue I have is I don't know how a hip attack is more effective than a brick to the face, because she kicked out of the brick to the face, but a hip attack, nope. But I get it. We always bitch and complain about protecting a finisher. They did it. They protected her finisher, and I wouldn't mind getting hit by that hip attack anyway. I wouldn't kick out either. Like, Jade's got a lot of there, and then Jada, I should say, has a lot of it, and then the bomb she did from the ladder. I don't care how much cushion she got. That didn't protect her too well when she hit Lola and jumped on the ladder with that sit down bomb, like her version of the bonsai drop. I love that they went there, and then you end with the strong 5-on-5 10-woman match. So, like, 2024 has become all women's wrestling all over the place. We always talk about TNA, but NXT is up there, and I know Noah loves his TNA women's wrestling, and I do say that they have a better division in general, but it's up there with NXT, and I don't know what it is. Even my wife says it. It's like a requirement to be beautiful in NXT. It's like, damn, it's like every single. They're all eye candy. Plus, they can wrestle. They got talent. They got mic skills. Nobody's really that bad in there. Like, even Wendy Chu was like, I'm like looking at it. Wendy Chu is pretty badass too. So, and then you got the interactions between the Rhino and popping up out of nowhere, and Nunzio old school. I wish Big Vito popped up too, but I mean, it's enough nostalgia in there. They did a good mix of classic and current. Like, I like that they didn't go too overboard with the nostalgia, and the back in the day people like didn't take too much TV time for everybody. They had the right mix, they had the right moment, and the fact that Nunzio got a title shot there, and then they made up, and it became like a family at the end of that. I love that. I like the whole night. I didn't get to see Dynamite until after. Dynamite did a good job. By no means it didn't suck, but it's just NXT is NXT. It was
Yeah.
awesome, and you can't say enough. It's not like I'm down in anything. The only thing about Dynamite is that, and everybody's talking about that Malachi Black thing. It's a little weird. It almost looked like he got sent off or something, but then he made a video, so it's like, I'm not injured, I'm not back. Like, people just assume stuff, so it's like, I don't want to talk about it too much because who the hell knows, but that was the only like little weird thing. But I love how Hurt Syndicate is getting what they get in the match. They're being taken serious since right from the beginning. That's how you start getting investing in somebody in this group. But NXT is just, they blew everything out of the water. You might be right. I have to take a day to like look at every show for the year, but it because it could be recency bias, but it was the best at least NXT show in the whole year, at least the last 3 months, because I can remember the last 3 months vividly, like the back of my hand. So that I could say. The year, I don't know. I got to go back and actually remember everything, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. And then let's see here. My dad popped in, says wanted to just stop in to share a smile and a wave. Well, it's good to see you, Pop. I know it's way past your bedtime. So thank you for popping in. We gotta figure he's East Coast time like you. So it's 11:20 for him, and you know the joke about older people, like they're usually in bed by like 8 o'clock. So
It's ironic you get to tell your dad, "Hey, go to bed now."
nah, never that, but and then the Cora Jade Roxanne Perez thing was awesome too. The I just kicked Stone, I just kicked Stan. That was a web exclusive though, hence why we didn't talk about it when running down everything that happened on the TV show. But yeah, that was still great. And then yeah, I mean, I called it. I said it, that they were gonna need Nunzio to do something with Tony D, and they finally did it. I just think it was the perfect balance, like you said, of ECW nostalgia and the modern day NXT stars to give them the rub. That whole backstage segment with RVD and Kaylani Jordan, where she's doing the splits across the two things, very reminiscent about the promos Rob used to do, where he'd do the splits on two chairs. And the fact that she does the split-legged moonsault as a finisher now. So that was a nice little touch. And then him getting involved in Wesley Javon Evans. Of course, Don Marie refereeing the hardcore match. Bubba teaming with Trick. Nunzio fighting Tony. You had Francine ringside for the big main event. I would say, if I had to nitpick any beef, it was that they advertised Francine and all we did was see her at ringside prior to the main event. Like, they didn't let her do anything.
Yeah, you didn't need
That's the only beef that I have. Like,
yep.
Rhino did more unannounced than Francine did announced.
Exactly. They should have
Pop
just
says Nunzio looks like a skeleton, very thin. Okay, since we want to bust Nunzio's balls, why did Tony Mamaluke look like a cross between a used car salesman and a game show host?
He did. Nunzio looked good to me. Only thing
Yeah, like
he has
I wish
a bad
I
knee.
looked. I wish I looked as good as Nunzio at my age. Jesus Christ.
The only thing I would say, he probably has a bum knee because that was a thick ass knee pad he had on.
But yeah, like, as cool as it was for Rhino to show up and do the gore and everything, and we kind of called the possibility of a Rhino appearance with the NXT NA thing, he wasn't hyped and did more than Francine did, and they hyped her for a whole week. Same thing with Nunzio. Nunzio wasn't announced, and he had a freaking match.
Right.
Francine, we knew for a week was going to be there, and all she did was smile and wave from the crowd. Like, her and Dawn have history. Like, there could have been something there. But I mean, that's the only beef that I had with the show. And if anything, that takes it from a 10 to a 9.9999999.
Right.
Serious. It's not a huge beef.
Exactly. But even the intro, they had like the old ECW intro with like current wrestling on the screen. It was pretty cool with the VCR filter. It was cool how they did the intro too.
Mm-hmm. Cutting in some of the ECW names that were announced that were going to be there, along with some extreme moments from recent NXT television. It was a nice touch overall, and I don't know how much Heyman was involved. I don't know how much any of the OG names were involved in the presentation. But whoever did that, kudos. Kudos.
I didn't even think about Heyman's involvement. That's a good point. He had to have some say in it.
You would think, I mean, even if it was just from a consulting basis, you know, hey, Paul, do you mind if we use the old This Is Extreme theme for this week's episode of NXT? It's not like they have to ask him because they own the ECW library, so they own the song. But considering Paul was ECW, I'm sure they at least did a little courtesy, be like, hey, Paul, do you think you can call Francine? Because Francine was never really a WWE name. So it's like, hey, do you think you can get in touch with Francine and see what's up with her, see if she'd be willing to do this? I'm sure he had to at least be a consultant.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if he didn't have to sell the whole table thing, he would have popped up too. But he's involved in that bloodline story, and they don't want to reveal that he's okay technically.
Yeah, I mean, there was spoiler video of him like arriving for SmackDown, but they still didn't use him. So it's like clearly it wasn't the right opportunity yet, the right moment. And you don't want to do the big reveal prior to him coming back with the bloodline angle.
Yeah, it would have screwed that up.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead, throw to a commercial. We will be right back after our most recent watch-along trailer airs.
And now for a taste of things to come.
And we are back.
Damn it, we need Noah for that.
Right? Especially with everything added. Jesus Christ. That's why I made that announcement that I'm not updating it again until after the UFC thing.
No,
When I saved today, I saved that one with the Paul Tyson match. And then I saved one without that, just starting at the UFC show. So I'm not doing another one until after the UFC show.
Yeah.
AEW, TNA, WWE, NXT can come and add their entire 2025 calendar. I don't care. I'm not updating shit until Saturday.
Yep. WWE already pulled out a whole bunch of the European shows.
Right? Raws, SmackDowns.
They letting you know international waters this next year.
Yep. Which I completely forgot to put that onto the docket because that was so early in the week and the chat got flooded with so much stuff as it do.
Yeah.
You know, what do we think about that? Because like we just said, the Road to WrestleMania show's been announced. There's going to be SmackDowns from Barcelona, Spain, Italy, London, England. There's going to be Raws from Brussels, Scotland, and London. Live events in Germany, Ireland, Austria, the Netherlands. So the $1 million question here is, while overseas tours are nothing new on the road to WrestleMania, 3 weeks of Raw and SmackDowns, is it a good idea? And at the time, we thought they were going to be taped because that's usually what happens is they tape them early in the day and then air them live to the East and West Coast. Spoilers getting out for all these shows, etc., giving no incentive to watch it. And then it was announced later in the week that Netflix is actually going to be airing these live as they happen, which means that at like 12 o'clock, I think Pacific, which would be 3 o'clock Eastern, or it's 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 Pacific, we're actually going to be able to see these shows live as they're happening on Netflix. So if that is accurate and we actually are going to be seeing them live, then obviously I think that's going to be better. But what do we think about all these live Raws and SmackDowns from these foreign countries?
I love it. I love it, and it's gonna be so live, like the crowd, because they don't get that stuff so often. It's gonna be it's gonna be like pay-per-view feelings. And if what they say is true about Netflix airing it, I don't know if all the SmackDown stuff is still gonna be taped because of USA. But if Netflix airs it, that gives me a little clue that they don't have to worry about time restraints. So that means regular Raws are probably going to get overages instead of these sudden stops, like Raw this week, just or SmackDown, like they went to hug, and it seemed like the OG Bloodline wanted to play around a little bit or something, and the camera just cuts off to get to the next show. I think with the Netflix, if they show this stuff live, that's a little clue as to they don't have time restraints, so they probably can go over. I don't think they can go over as much as they want, but they can go over five. On the East Coast, 11, 11, 10, 11, 15 if they want. So I like that. So this might be a little clue as to what we get in the normal thing, but the fact that they get to do all these tours is awesome because they say they were going to lighten the load for the wrestlers here, but then they have these tours. But it's so great because all they can do is bring more eyes to the product. So in business, it's smart. Triple H is this intelligent businessman, and I'm just glad that other people in the world get to see it, and we get to enjoy something early and don't have to worry about, if your little kids want to stay up late to watch wrestling, you let them, and they have trouble getting up the next day for school. Like my parents, when I was little, I always had to stay up for Raw. Like screw that, and it got to finish at 11 o'clock or whatever. Yeah, because they used to start at 9 and finish at 11, and then I get yelled at, take your behind the bed. So if people still do that and they stay up, you'll have no issue with the next day because they would air it at 3 o'clock or maybe noon, like you said. So I see nothing but positive. Yeah, I see it as there can be negatives. Like I could try to see it as both ways, but I'm optimistic. Like I think it's a good thing. It's just like when PLEs are early and you get to relax after, especially us who do watch-alongs and things like that. It's just so much easier for us to stream and be done by a certain time when it's early. So I'm happy for it.
Yeah, I mean, if if the rumor is true and we're going to get these all live, then that's definitely a great thing. But if only half is live and half is taped because SmackDown is still on USA. Sorry, there was a big bang in the other room.
And it all started with the Big Bang.
Totally lost my train of thought.
If half are live and half.
Yeah. If the Raws are live and the SmackDowns are taped, I think that could be a mistake. Especially since I know Netflix wants Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, but they probably won't get him till after WrestleMania. So your big angle heading to WrestleMania is going to be on the taped show. Where's my incentive to watch it if I already know what happened?
That's true. You got to do it all live.
Especially as we're heading into WrestleMania. Like I said, that's 3 weeks. Key weeks. That's, if they move everything to Netflix for those weeks in order to keep everything live and at the same time, that's one thing. But if they don't do everything, then that could end up causing issues.
Yeah, that's the key, whether it's all live or not.
So you got a super chat here from 26.2 miles outside parts unknown, $2. Thank you very much. Anybody going to the New Japan show in Long Beach? I want to, but I don't see it as a feasible thing right now. With the holidays around the corner, with lack of transportation, I just don't see it as a logistical expense right now. But I would love to go if I had the means. Because New Japan's one of the few promotions I've never seen live.
Me neither. Wish I could go to. I can't even afford to go to a regular SmackDown. That'll be a Hartford December 13th. Them tickets are crazy.
Yeah, we know internationally Netflix is getting SmackDown, but we don't live internationally. We live in the United States. So that don't mean nothing to us, Safed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that doesn't matter for us.
They still got the network. That won't matter to us. It don't
Yeah,
affect
serious.
us.
They still get the WWE network. We don't. All right, so that was kind of an impromptu thing because that was supposed to be a topic, but I completely forgot about it when I did the run sheet for today. The second topic that I had stated was AEW wrestlers Kenny Omega and Powerhouse Hobbs returned this week, but Kenny Omega returned at a New Japan show. He didn't return on AEW television. And I originally was going to bring this topic up when only Omega had returned. And then I watched Dynamite and I saw Powerhouse Hobbs return. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, did they not bring Omega back on Dynamite because they didn't want to upstage the return of Powerhouse Hobbs? Because we all know if Omega had shown up the same night Hobbs returned, nobody would be talking about Hobbs at all. It would all be about Omega. That being said, I don't know if Powerhouse Hobbs was a worthy person to bring in for the main event tag team slot. I like Hobbs and all, but he's not main event caliber. I was expecting that to be Ricochet and Will Ospreay. teaming up. Will Ospreay is a main event caliber talent. Powerhouse Hobbs is not yet. Can he be? Absolutely. Can he be under Tony Khan booking? Probably not the way they've shown to book Hobbs and Wardlow. So my question is, were both men brought back in the best way possible? Because I tend to believe that they weren't. Omega being brought back on foreign soil, I think, was a blunder. Because not everybody is going to watch New Japan. And now people are only talking about it because of news, not because they actually saw it. Noah Foster probably saw it, but he's not here to discuss it. I'm just being real. Me and you don't watch New Japan.
You know he did.
So I think bringing Omega back on foreign soil was a blunder. Even if it was to hype up Wrestle Dynasty, AEW's first Japan show, I think like you should have brought Omega back in the States first and then had him show up in Japan to do that. And then Hobbs, while I was excited to see Hobbs back, I felt like it was kind of a lackluster name in that spot. Your thoughts, Walter?
Okay. I'm not trying to disrespect Hobbs at all. I like the guy. So it's not him that to blame for what I said. It's Tony Khan for the way he booked. Hobbs is a Collision return to me. Like, he's only worthy to come back like on Collision or something or a Rampage. He's not even, and I'm sorry, I'm really trying not to be disrespectful, but he's not worthy to come back on a Dynamite, especially a big one when you're going head to head on NXT. This is just bad timing. I know you didn't want to go into the ratings, but how many people saw him come back versus how many people watched the ECW Nostalgia NXT show? You know what I mean?
That's fair. I mean, there was about 100,000 difference between NXT and ECW and AEW.
Yeah, you should have waited a week when everybody tunes in. Not everybody, but people that want to see that are loyal to AEW, they're gonna watch Dynamite regardless. So when it's on its own and not going against competition, that's when you want to bring somebody back. You shouldn't have did it here, and you reduce Kenny Omega basically to a YouTube return because not too many people can get where New Japan in the States. Not too many people can get where it shows. So, and if not, it's like the old ECW. You might catch it at 2 or 3 in the morning, which is why no one ever gets any sleep. So,
which is why he's probably late to this because he probably was sleeping.
Yeah, he just messaged me. Give him like 10 minutes. So yeah, you basically reduced him to a YouTube return. So, and I like Hobbs, and you can reverse what you did to Hobbs, but at this point, you might as well put him in the Hurt Syndicate. Like and I'm sure under Bobby Lashley, I'm sure MVP would not let that man slip through his fingers. He would back him up, and he would prove what Hobbs should have been years ago. But the problem is, you already tried to put him in like 2-3 groups already. So like, do we have to suffer this crap again? Like, I know I'm the one that just said that up, and I'm not saying by any way, shape, or mean that's a rumor or anything that they're gonna put him in the Hurt Syndicate. I just said if you're gonna put him in a group, that's where he fits to me. But we'll see what they do solo. But yeah, he's a Rampage or a Collision return, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I like the guy. It's Tony's fault. It's the same thing with Warlord. You screwed these guys up so bad that it's like, I don't know. I bet you WWE has screwed up a lot of names. I'm not defending them, but I bet you if Hobbs was in NXT, he'd be up there right now.
Dude, give me Hobbs versus Obafemi.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Hobbs versus Tony D. Any of these Rich Hobbs versus Hobbs, like he's They got so much stuff they could do. You could treat Hobbs like the modern day Lex Luger if you really, really wanted to. The way they made him like the All American and hero and all that. You could treat Hobbs like that, or you could treat him like the asshole heel because he plays that well too. But he needs people behind him that believe in him. I just feel like Tony doesn't believe in him, and I'm not trying to be negative Nancy here. It's just I don't know. Like the joke that I started with everybody. Jeff even made the graphic. At this point, AEW is all empty arena, empty wrestling. So it's like I don't know. To me, it was just bad timing. It wasn't the smartest thing. You knew that you had NXT as competition, and you know that NXT is competition. Why would you do that this week? If you like, say MJF was going for a long time, and you got competition that you bring an MJF back, you bring Kenny Omega back on Dynamite, because you need a reason for people to flip the switch off NXT to go to AEW. You need that reason.
Seriously, you've got Ricochet and a mystery partner. If Kenny Omega's that mystery partner, that's huge.
Exactly.
That's huge. Especially when you figure that the Bucks walked away last week. So they leave and now Omega's back. The timing couldn't be more perfect.
Yep.
And then you get that word of mouth, which, the last really big thing I can think of where word of mouth played a huge factor in the ratings was Foley winning his first title from The Rock.
Yep.
People start hearing Omega's music. Dude, Omega's back on AEW Dynamite. Click, click,
yeah.
click. You'd probably see a huge uptick for that last quarter hour.
Yep. Plus, you could even make it look like Tony called them as a FU to the Bucks. You could have intertwined that story, because the Bucks were like, "This is already," they did what they did to Tony. Now you made it look like all Tony did was make a call and look who's back. Since you want to screw me, look who I brought back. You could have intertwined that story right there.
Yep.
But you let a whole different company, him come back in a different company. I don't know. Good for I tell you who benefits from it, the Japanese fans, Japan themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who benefited. But yeah, I'm sorry, Hobbs, if you watch this, because we know Tony watches this stuff because he steals your ideas all the time. But
yeah, for real.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just your return would have been better spent on a collision.
See, and I will disagree with you there. I think Hobbs' return on a Dynamite is a good thing. I just think he was the wrong person to be the mystery partner.
Oh, okay.
I feel like Hobbs has been gone long enough that to see him reemerge on Dynamite, because hardly that many people watch Collision or Rampage. Like, at least Dynamite comes close to NXT each week. Rampage and Collision don't even do half of NXT combined each week.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
So bringing Hobbs back would have been a good thing on Dynamite. He was just poorly placed as the mystery partner. If you had debuted him earlier in the night as a new member of the Hurt Syndicate, that would have been put at a good spot because people could see it fitting. People would also wonder how he and Lashley are going to get along, though. Two big, dominant, massive black men. Could be a conflict of egos right there. Or maybe Bobby Lashley kind of looking in the mirror at his younger self.
Mm-hmm.
Or you hold him off until next week's Dynamite and you use Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay to be the name as the mystery partner, and you get that huge pop.
You could have brought, yeah, true. It's just wrong week. But speaking of the Hurt Syndicate, I just got a $2 PayPal by Emmanuel.
Yes, I was going to mention that when we had a break that he sent you a PayPal thing.
Yeah, and it's about the Hurt Syndicate, so it fits here.
Perfect.
What is the difference between the Hurt Syndicate and AEW's version versus WWE Hurt business right now? I see no difference between them. I think it's going to hurt them more than it helps.
Well, the big difference right now is that there's one less person. Hurt Business had Cedric Alexander. He's not as part of the syndicate. So there's no focus on tag team right now, which I think is good. Lashley can make moves for the world title. Shelton can go for any of the other 25 singles titles. The international title, the continental title, the TNT title, the
insert name here title.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre title that Jeff Jarrett holds. Like there's stuff for Shelton to do on the mid card, which is where Shelton has always thrived anyways. Without putting him in the tag division, because you put Bobby and Shelton in the tag division, or you put Shelton and insert name here in the tag division is already cluttered with people that don't get used, don't get pushed. You know, you've got to, these are people that you can keep as single stars.
Yeah, please don't give him the trios title either, please. I don't want that.
That I wouldn't mind as much, because that means we get to see MVP wrestle. And I always liked MVP. I don't know how much he can actually go, but if we're being real, when you've got Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, and the Standard of Excellence as your tag mates, you ain't really got to do a whole lot. You know, let him get the hot tag, let him get in there, do the OG ball in, and then let him tag out.
I love that bowling elbow drop. I used to love that.
The playmaker finisher.
Yeah.
Something like.
Well, to take a jab at AEW, one big reason is they're wrestling in front of an actual, an actual crowd when they were in WWE. Now it's just half that.
You're right.
And they're actually on TV though, which is a good thing, because WWE did screw them up. Like at some point, they didn't even have that much TV time.
Yeah, seriously.
And the fact that they're healthy, I'm just glad that Lashley was healthy, because I think that's what kind of squandered it. I think he was hurt, and then it's like when he probably recovered, they had nothing for him, and it kind of just fizzled out.
Definitely. And then Safet brought up something else in the chat, and it wasn't super chatted, but I'll go ahead and I'll bring it up because it was something I was thinking about as a potential topic. He mentions how AEW is using the November to Remember to promote their month's worth of shows. If you hadn't seen it, here's a graphic using it and everything. WWE owns all the ECW copyrights. Can't WWE sue AEW for using November to Remember? I think they can, and I think Tony Khan may want to rethink this strategy. Because the last thing I think Tony Khan wants or needs right now is a WWE lawsuit.
Yep. They should have said maybe a November to Remember, and then it just looked like they were trying to make a rhyme, not take a stab at EC. I don't know. I tell you what, the one Wednesday I gotta work, AEW's here. I would have went. I was looking for tickets, and then I'm like, they changed my schedule because somebody went on vacation. And I we make fun of arena empty wrestling and all that, but it's to our benefit to see it live because I had literally like 5 rows back from the ring was $80. I was gonna jump on that. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of don't want the arena to start filling up and they bigger because then the tickets are gonna skyrocket.
There you go. Well, almost an hour into the show, and he is finally here. He's in darkness. I guess he truly is the Dark Knight. What is up, Noah, good sir?
I'm tired, but I'm here. I'm all right. Good to see y'all. Hello.
Hello.
He's got that Mountain Dew energy.
He needs something to perk himself up.
Just been a long week, long day, and I was at my piece, and then the alarm went off because I knew I had stuff to do with church, and then I saw your thing. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, this too. But I figured that the crew could handle this light schedule, but apparently not, because I only see you two. So what's been going on? What have I missed? Bring me up to speed. Good to see everybody in the chat as always. Everyone's had a great end to their week. Gosh.
Well, you know, me and Walter were basically doing a you and I when Walter and James are doing UFC, and we're still doing it.
There you go.
James messaged me that he had some personal stuff come up today, so he wasn't going to be here. Jeff was around for a little bit. He's at the Kings game, but his phone died.
Dang.
So that just left it as the two of us running. We've basically done everything but the main event topic. So we'll go ahead. We'll run it back. We'll let you give your thoughts on things very quickly.
All right.
What we're discussing right now is we were discussing Kenny Omega and Powerhouse Hobbs' returns, and were they presented in the best possible way this week? With Kenny Omega making his return on foreign land, not in the company that he, you know, is an EVP for, where, you know, they're going head to head with NXT that evening with the mystery partner main event. And granted, we know he's probably still not cleared to wrestle, but just getting that pop at the main event would have been huge. And then Powerhouse Hobbs, while both me and Walter like the guy, being slotted in that main event slot, don't really feel that Powerhouse Hobbs is ready for that just yet, when Ricochet's mystery partner could have been Omega if he is able to go at this point, or Will Ospreay or something like that, who definitely would have fit in going against the Callis family. Powerhouse Hobbs just kind of seemed like not quite yet there. Your thoughts? Were they presented properly for their returns?
In a way, as somebody that looks at all things wrestling, know Kenny Omega's history, and also know Powerhouse Hobbs' history. And if you don't want to be forgotten, you want to be remembered, how better to go against the family that forgot about you? I think so. At the end of the day, it makes sense in the story context, because Kyle Fletcher's right now story falls in line with ending Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, though, reminding Kyle Fletcher exactly who he is, bruv, in the most emphatic way possible, especially the post-match where it all adds up, and you might have a proverbial war zone, blood and guts on your hand building for the longer term. But right now, everyone's trying to take down the Don Callis family. There's many twists and ties there. So I think Powerhouse Hobbs makes a lot of sense. AEW original, redefining his character. He looked very prominent, meet-on-meet action with him, and he could face Brian Cage or Lance Archer, and that tension with Konosuke Takeshita I thought was really cool during that. So yeah, I think from a contest it makes sense. And here in Ricochet, nice dynamic of big man, small man. I really enjoyed that, and that was unexpected. I kind of liked the fact it was that versus what I thought would have been like Will Ospreay, but they still keep Will Ospreay in line with the story, but not necessarily that he's competing right now just get his hands on Kyle Fletcher just because he can in tag team action. So save the big match. As far as Kenny Omega, his history goes all the way back to New Japan when he and Kota Ibushi from DDT Pro were tag team partners. Kenny Omega was made in Japan, quite literally. So I love that. And after seeing his sit-down interview where he and Tanahashi fought on emotion and he learned so much from Wrestle Kingdom 13, I think it made a lot of sense because I think they are trying to build, again, the bigger story, the bigger show here. Kenny Omega trying to endorse the future, the young lions, the younger generation. As New Japan already has fully endorsed the next generation, which I love to see. I think it worked very well, and it's definitely got me far more hyped and invested in Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty, where it looks like he might go one-on-one with Gabe Kidd. It's also one of those things where you don't want to risk booking something on one of the biggest shows of the AEW New Japan partnership year, especially the one that starts 2025. And it unfortunately fallen to the wayside due to health. So I think this was the best way to present Kenny Omega, giving us that new hope that the Cleaner can return to the ring again. And the fact that Kenny Omega wants to do it in New Japan makes it even more special. So honestly, from a context standpoint of storytelling in AEW to matchmaking and pay-per-view hyping and New Japan Pro Wrestling, I think both were very effective in what they were trying to do. And they both did it on some shows that felt big. AEW, again, big Dynamite. Really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that I saw. And again, it's building a lot towards Full Gear. And New Japan right now, Power Struggle, like the second to last big stop before the road to Tokyo Dome. You got to build out Wrestle Kingdom and the first Wrestle Dynasty. I think both did what they need to do in the meantime. Now we'll see how they follow up for the rest of November and December.
But Noah, do you think it would have been better if they saved Hobbs a week and not bring him back when they're going head to head with NXT, when you know a lot of viewers who you usually have aren't going to watch because they're going to be watching NXT?
It's one of those things where I think AEW just don't give a shit about ratings, and I at this point it's like, okay, it's TV, let's just do this. AEW knows right now they're not WWE, nor are they trying to be. It's also one of those things where I don't think they are necessarily thinking about that, especially if TNT and Warner Brothers Discovery aren't saying jack diddly. As long as the network's satisfied, and I'm satisfied as a fan, from a fan standpoint, from y'all's perspective, a business standpoint, yeah, but I kind of stopped looking at things like that anymore as long as both shows are doing well. And I enjoyed both. And it's one of those things also where it wasn't like they were doing Powerhouse Hobbs and like hometown. And again, it was unexpected. So would that have drawn more viewers away from NXT to AEW if it was possibly Kenny Omega Ospreay? Maybe. But that's only one match, one segment versus a whole show versus a night of nostalgia living in 2024 from the Arena of Extreme. I think Tony Khan knew that already his goose was cooked, and it's like, So it's like, keep going. So, nah.
Okay, well, speaking of NXT, the opening topic was thoughts on the show this past week, final thoughts on it, because I told Walter, and again, maybe it's just personal bias, maybe it's because I'm so invested in the NXT product, but I feel that this show at the 2300 was one of the best shows from any company of the entire year.
It really depends how you look at it, because it was really a night of nostalgia with a little bit of present building. It was definitely a wild atmosphere, a one-of-a-kind showcase. Capacity crowd bringing the NXT energy with the ECW attitude, and it was a very fun show. When you look at all things wrestling like me, though, putting it up there with the likes of, as far as TV stuff, yeah, probably the best TV thing I've seen all year from WWE, but I've also seen pay-per-view level shows from All Elite Wrestling on a TV night, just saying. And of course, personal bias, I saw TNA Bound for It live, not going to compare TV to pay-per-view because pay-per-view should not be underwhelming versus TV. And I also saw Fright Night live, and again, I thoroughly enjoyed that atmosphere, and Cleveland always rocks when they go All Elite. But I also, again, look at all things wrestling, and I've seen incredible shows from Corrigan Hall during the G1, and of course, Ryogoku Sumo Hall. But from a basic, casual, only domestic wrestling fan view standpoint, you very well could be onto something there, because it was a one-of-a-kind night. But the Sun and Stop at 10 made me feel like, the 10-woman tag could have did more. I kind of wish they, for one, not only could have did an overrun and less commercials, but that's also just a personal take. But As far as WWE, yeah, that was probably my favorite thing I've seen from WWE all year, and my favorite thing I've seen from NXT in a long time. Compared to everything else I watched, it's up there, but not the top thing of the year for me.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we will run our watch along trailer one more time, and then we will come back with our main event topic. This should be a meaty one. We will be right back.
And now for a taste of things to come.
You weren't kidding about it being meaty. I didn't know it had all that contest. But again, the SRS here encompasses all things wrestling, all things combat sports, all things worldwide sports, and other showcases, to say the least. And just for telling for Spirit Evolve in December, I thoroughly love Fighting Spirit Unleashed on Friday. A lot of great stuff out of that. Again, that was a great night of wrestling. Again, folks, all the wrestling here. Truly all the wrestling. Right, little JR? Always got the little JR by my side.
There you go. Yeah, lots of stuff added. Curious to see where 2025 takes us.
Oh,
like 2024 has been a good year for us.
Best year of my fandom, that's for damn sure, across the board, and that includes WWE. For the first time since probably the early 2000s, I've cared about the letters WWE again, including NXT. So kudos to Paul Triple-H making me care about that company again. You still have your flaws, but you're far better than what you were under the other regime.
So our main event topic, and I'm hoping we will have, I don't know if we're going to have too many differing opinions, because I think we all kind of feel more or less the same way, but maybe I'll be surprised here. On SmackDown, it was revealed that we're going to be getting a Women's United States Championship. Yes, a women's mid-card title on SmackDown. You got to figure a women's intercontinental title is coming. I'm wondering if the only reason they didn't do that was because Raw was in Saudi. The belt may have been over here, and they didn't want to take anything away from the Crown Jewel Championship they had just done. But you got to figure on Raw they're going to announce the Women's Intercontinental Championship, though, so that they can keep both brands neck and neck. Who do we want to see be the women to take these titles first and foremost? And I think we're all going to agree as far as SmackDown goes that it has to come down to two people. It's either got to be Mia Yim or it's got to be Chelsea Green.
Two people.
To me, it can only.
I mean, for the inaugural, it's got to be one of those two.
Yeah.
What do you think, Noah? I mean, the way you kind of scoffed and said two people, like, do you see another person that's seriously in the running as far as SmackDown goes that should be that inaugural champion?
Nope. It should be Chelsea Green, but I do like the fact that you do use the only other woman they pretty much have kept out of catering, because Chelsea Green and Meacham have been feuding, of course, most recently, especially after that dumpster match. And I figured also it'd be great redemption for the most valuable player in the women's roster at WWE. There, I said it. Definitely Chelsea Green. No doubt in my mind. She absolutely deserves to make this title her moment and her own showcase. Now, I just hope WWE actually shows originality and makes this title not look like Control-C, Control-V on white leather. But this is WWE marketing strategy. I'm not going to hold my damn breath. That being said, personal criticism aside for originality in championship, showcasing, and design. If it's not Chelsea Green, then you might have me step away again from even acknowledging main roster WWE's women's division.
See, the reason why I think Mia Yim would be a good candidate is because of everything she had to go through with Retribution. This would kind of like be a, hey, sorry, you're the first champion.
It will be her retribution.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like how Naya's comeback story, winning the Queen of the Ring and then the championship. Under the Triple H administration, I could see Mia Yim being a heavy candidate.
It's fair. I'll give you that. So y'all try to forget about the freaking past again for reasons. So, yeah, it's got to be Meacham versus Chelsea Green in the finals. They haven't done jack diddly shit with the Holy Union. Blair Davenport, BFAT for some reason still exists. I don't know why she still exists.
I don't know. She's
If
not
we're
even
being real,
Street Profits.
If we're being real, and I hate to say it this way, but I'm just keeping it 1,000. B-Fab is just filling the role that Bianca Belair would fill if she turned heel.
That's a low bar, but yeah, that's probably accurate considering who she's connected to.
Exactly, which is why I say it like you people were clamoring for a Bianca heel turn, put her with the Street Profits when they were heel with Bobby. Of course, we saw how long that lasted because the Street Profits as heel just didn't work. But that B-Fab is just in the role that Bianca would be in, and Bianca's too high profile to be a manager.
And what other women are on SmackDown?
Bailey, Naomi.
That's another one to me.
Nia, Tiffany.
Yeah, I got nothing else. Yeah, it's gotta be Meacham and Chelsea Green in the finals. I mean, it just makes sense because, like you said, I mean, honestly, neither of those women have had a singles championship, I think, ever in WWE. Last time I saw Meacham as a singles champion and Laura Vaness, hello Chelsea Green, as singles champion, it was TNA. It was Impact Wrestling when they were both former TNA Knockouts world champions. Still the most prestigious title in all women's wrestling, don't at me, next to the glamour. So yeah, I definitely don't see anybody else worthy on the blue brand. If this is going to be Control-C, Control-V brand exclusive mid-card divisions, it's got to be Meacham and Chelsea Green. Now, for some reason, and honestly, this is where previous spots, what we talk about for a single set of titles for certain divisions come in, from previous Saturday Shenanigans come in. If this title is crossed branding, I could see it coming down to Chelsea Green and Ivy Nile because Ivy Nile's American made, and I think Ivy Nile would also be a unique sleeper because I think there's one thing I could say about Paul Trish Levesque. He gives others that the old regime wouldn't give jack shit about a chance.
Agreed.
So, yeah. But I do wonder, though, if they do announce a, because you talk about Meaty, let's be honest, neither women's division is meaty in WWE unless you're in NXT.
Well, no, I meant meaty as far as, our opinions as far as who could be on the championship.
That's fair, but again, we all agreed. I mean, again,
let's get into Raw. If it is a brand exclusive, which brand split, LOL, as you always like to say, and we get a women's intercontinental title, who do we see as the first women's intercontinental champion? The first two names that come to my mind, you already threw out Ivy Nile.
Yeah.
But the first two names that kind of come to my mind that really aren't being used right now, and I don't think one of them is injured, but it would be Lyra Valkyria and Zelina Vega.
Yeah, I mean, they have been doing their own little thing. I think Selena has been actually feuding with Ivy now because they've been doing the whole America versus Mexico thing with the LW. I forgot what their name was, versus American Made. So, yeah, and also Selena Vega never had a singles championship. I honestly can't remember if she ever had a singles championship in her career because she's always been like a tag team. Hello, Serena. Yeah, that's fair. And Lyra, she kind of cooled off immediately after Nia Jax squashed her quite literally at King and Queen of the Ring. And it's not like her and Casey Square right now are feuding with the Shayna and company. And why I always would say Shayna Baszler deserves a singles championship. They just aren't going to book Shayna that way. And I think you have to use the more prominent, recognized, weekly showcase names to, of course, promote this championship. Marketing, damn it, marketing. Screw being the best wrestlers. I think, yeah, it's got to be on the Raw side if we're only doing, and again, WWE, make me believe again. Come on. Make me believe. You made me believe in NXT 90%. And make me believe in the main roster. Yeah, I think Selena and Ivy Nile is a fair shout. Heel versus face, recognized names used. But I would be curious to see how Lyra could be inserted in this because I have to imagine they're going to do some type of tournament or number one contender matches or something for this. I don't know what, but yeah.
Yeah, they haven't given the 411 as to how they're going to decide the champions yet, but I'm kind of waiting for more specifics on that because it was a Nick Aldis backstage kind of like taped promo that did this whole reveal.
Tape promo. Oh, come on. This
It
should have been
felt like a taped promo because the whole Randy Orton angle that happened earlier in the day in the show. So it felt like it was taped. It could have been, a live feed, but it just, I don't know, Walter, you watched it. Didn't it give off like a taped vignette vibe?
Yes, it did.
Lazy.
All right. I agree with you that it needs to be Chelsea Green. Like it doesn't fit anyone else. But I'm gonna throw a couple of scenarios out there, and please, I hope to God I don't do this. But if you really want that title to mean something, you save a surprise spot. Maybe Charlotte Flair comes back and she's the boo. I say it too. I say it too.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say that.
I don't like her. I hate that. I'm not going to say hate. That's strong. I just like her. But
look, she's Grand Slam. I mean, she's Grand Slam. I mean,
if you're gonna make it seem like big time, you give it to one of your big time superstars like that.
Well, if you're gonna go big time, why not give it to big time Bex?
That's true. Or wait, there's another one that could come back and out of nowhere automatically get a title as a welcome back. Alexa Bliss.
She's been MIA.
I don't think it'll make sense, but I'm just saying, if you start putting the big time people in this, you automatically make the title seem relevant. But I don't see anyone getting it but Chelsea Green, and you would mess up so bad if you don't give it to Chelsea Green.
Like I said, they don't give it to Chelsea. I don't give jack shit about the women's divisions in main roster WWE.
On
If
the
you're
Raw
not-
side, what if they give it to Raquel to kind of just heal up the Judgment Day even more? You got Liv with one title and Raquel with the other.
I was thinking that way. If they made an IC title, I was gonna say Raquel would have been, because they would have did that. Or if you're talking about people that not utilized and this is like a hey, we're sorry for the way we treated you, like Mia, Maxine Dupree.
I completely forgot about her. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No,
But
if
I'm
you
talking
want to
about
do
like
the
in
whole
terms of
"we're
a
sorry about the way that we treated you," Natalia. Hello.
Yeah.
When
Natalia.
was the last time Natalia actually did something on screen?
That's my point.
Thank you.
I tell you what. If Roxanne Perez wasn't the NXT Women's Champion and you wanted to call her up to the main roster, that would have been the best way to do it. Make her find her
Who's to
way
say
into
that
that
they
tournament.
can't do this?
That's true.
Who says
Maybe
that we can't use a couple of NXT women to help fill out this tournament? Especially if it's going to be cross-branded, which if it's going to be cross-branded, that's where I have an issue with it because NXT's already got the Women's North American title.
Yeah.
But
NXT is already defined well enough. Like I said, it's the only women's division I care about under the banner of WWE. Don't fuck it up.
I don't say they win, but hell, you want to make this title feel important that everybody wants it? Throw a couple of TNA talents in the tournament just to say, yo, I want that title. I want to recognize. You don't let them win, but now you make the title seem important that, damn, people from TNA even want this title.
They are
I'm
never
just saying
going
marketing.
to. They are never going to intercept TNA into the main roster because you can't have someone from TNA go over somebody on the main roster. Remember what we're dealing with here.
they already did have TNA in the main roster at the Royal Rumble.
That's different because Royal Rumble is supposed to include everybody and surprise you, and that's a one-night thing.
Yeah,
And they still didn't give it to a TNA wrestler.
My point isn't that they win or do anything, but now you make the title seem important that, damn, another brand, another wrestling company wants to be involved in this. Now that brings instant credibility to that title. Like, it's to the point where TNA wrestlers want to be involved in this. I'm talking about from a marketing standpoint, not let them win it.
I completely agree with Walter, and I'm not saying to let them win it either, but I would let, if let's say that Jordan Grace or Masha Slamovich decide that they wanted to come over and enter this tournament, I'd let them get past the first round.
Nah.
I'd
That'd be
maybe
a
even
holy
let them get
shit.
past the second round, get to the semifinals. Because that does nothing but get them over, which is what the whole NXT-TNA partnership is about anyways, is getting the TNA talent exposed to more fans than can watch on Access and more fans than attend a live TNA show. No disrespect intended by that statement, but it's about getting those talents over to a wider market. You've already got someone like Jordan Grace who's over like Rover, especially with the NXT crowd. You put her on Raw or SmackDown and you get a couple wins under her belt to where she makes it to the semis, and maybe the semis Jordan Grace puts over an Ivy Nile or a Natalia or somebody of that caliber. That's big.
I'll believe it when I see it. Maybe you might be onto something, but I'm not holding my breath. Main roster WWE.
I'm
I
not
know what their
either.
dick is.
You got to put as Noah calls them, the TikTok rejects in there too. And they imagine they end up going one-on-one. Now you see who the bigger star is and who can make it on their own. It's like
There's only one star in that team.
I know.
And her name is Lash Legend.
We know who it is. But we were talking about Natalia and the sorry for the way we treated it, but Naomi too. Especially if you're not going to turn Bianca or Jay heel, you want if they're still together, they haven't been together, but the three of them having titles, and you want to make it seem legit. That's another way. I doubt it. There's like a 0.0001 chance, but I'm just throwing names out there. But I need to see Chelsea Green in that. I need it like yesterday for her to have that damn title.
Accurate.
Yeah, I knew everybody was going to be on Team Chelsea as far as the U.S. title goes.
And if you're not, you're already wrong.
Well, like I said, Mia Yim is the only other acceptable answer.
Well, I'll give you that.
You know, anybody else is just like, no, no, no.
No.
No Bailey, no Naomi, no Nia, no Tiffany. She's already got Money in the Bank. No Charlotte, no Candace.
No Scarlett. What the hell is she doing?
Indy Hartwell would have been a good candidate, but you know they just released her.
If people are ready to come back, you could throw. I'm not saying she'll win, but to throw her back in, Shotzi could come back and be on TV again.
There's a good possibility. I didn't even think about Shotzi.
Me neither.
Her music hitting and coming out in her little tank, that would be a huge pop.
But knowing WWE, this title ain't gonna mean shit. And freaking, they're gonna probably have R-Truth come out, and then they'll be like, R-Truth, this is the women's title. Oh, my bad, and walk out. I feel like they're gonna do some crap like that too.
Somebody else that could be ready to come back is Carmella.
That's another one.
Yeah, first women's Money in the Bank. But nah. But yeah, I get the whole coming back, get a pop, and try and add something to this, blah, blah, blah. But it's not Chelsea. I really don't give a fuck. Meacham 5%.
Damn, only 5% for Mia Yim. I thought she'd at least get like a 25%.
Not against Chelsea Green, in my opinion.
Oh, I got
What about Piper? What if Piper turns on Chelsea?
Don't ruin one of the only things that I actually care about on main roster WWE, JJ. I'm just saying. But I do like the idea of Piper Niven becoming a singles champion in her own right, previous challenger to Kaylee Ray's NXT UK Women's Championship. Although for the longest time, I just want to see Piper Niven wreck shot with Gallus. But I love this dynamic with her and Chelsea Green. It's the only women's tag team I've cared about since the freaking Iconics were tossed to the wayside. And that was the last time I thought they were good women's tag team wrestling rights. So again, no.
What about the return of Asuka?
Well, she is also another one that would be well, technically not Grand Slam. She wasn't NXT UK, and I don't know what her case of return is since she had surgery, I think, on her leg or something like that. So I mean, but I mean that's a fair. But again, that's if it's cross-branded. Bottom line, keep it brand exclusive. Make me believe that you actually care that one's red, one's blue, and they're supposed to be unique. And make sure it's Chelsea Green.
Oh, another one that could come back. Oh, no. She just had a kid. I was going to say Valhalla, but she just had a kid.
Again?
Isn't that why she's out?
Yeah, she was out because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she's given birth or not yet, but...
Man. What is with people having babies and wrestling anymore? It's crazy. Because Kelly's still waiting on having hers. I mean,
she had hers.
I mean, yeah, Ruby Soho had hers on Halloween. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Family, build a family, and Killer Kelly's waiting for her killer baby. So there you go. I'm just waiting for
Kelly had hers.
Did she?
Yeah, like yesterday, I think.
Oh.
Actually named it Ruby.
Aw, cute.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Kelly, I look forward to when you come back, though, and you and Masha play with the TNA Knockouts World Championship. But kudos to the new killer mother. Again, I'm not on social media for you know why. I
just had a thought too. I said it earlier. You make it cross-branded to TNA to really make some legitimacy to the title. Another way you could bring legitimacy. You gotta insert a couple of. I'm not saying they win at all. Insert a couple legends in there. Throw your Trish Stratus because they want to make a stint. They're like, I got to be a part of this. This is women's history. I need to be a part of this. So throw in your leaders, your Trish Stratus. Hell, Victoria, Kelly. The Kelly's one on the younger side. So
here we go with the nostalgia acts. All right,
I'm just saying because they never got the chance to do something like this. So if you want to make the title feel important to the fact that even they want a piece of it, you got to make it seem like it's important and a big deal. I'm not saying you make them win, but the fact that they're in it shows it makes us as a fan think, damn it, they're coming back just to get this title. The title means something to the women. That's all I'm saying.
If WWE really wants to make their current roster matter, then they need to focus on the current roster and force and challenge them to make it important versus using the constant, in case of marketing strategy, break glass. It's on the current roster to make WWE feel important, not the past. And Triple H, I think of all people, knows that.
That's fair.
Definitely fair. I just feel like psychologically, you'd be like, if it's important enough for where TNA gets involved and you got people from the past coming, then it's got to be important. That's all I'm saying.
Live
No,
in the
I
present.
see where Walter's coming from, though.
Yeah, I do too. But like I said, live in the present, build the future. If New Japan Pro Wrestling can almost put on a whole Wrestle Kingdom that's coming up with a new generation, then why can't WWE trust and book their current and developing talent enough to establish a championship on its own by themselves? You got more than enough people on catering clamoring for that moment. We named you several, and JJ is still at royalties, by the way, several times over. Get your shit together, WWE. What? Oh. All right, let me take a look here. What'd you do here, Manuel?
He gave me one too. It's just to get a question on there to spread the love.
Bless the Dominguez. What did he do? JJ, before I pull the anonymous GM role, do you have anything further to add regarding this? Do you think we dissected it enough?
I think we pretty much covered everything and everyone.
Well,
Daniel mentions that we didn't mention Nikki Cross at all, but
you got to consider what the Wyatt Six is. They are their own entity intercepting certain storylines that doesn't affect the main plots necessarily. For them, it's not about championships. It's almost one of those things where it's about revenge, a lesson in respect, family values, apparently. It's a whole different type of format, and I'm still waiting to see if they actually build something out of Nikki Cross or Sister Abigail, taking on Ivy Nile. I think that fell to the wayside too. Go figure. But I like the idea, but we're not dealing with Nikki Cross anymore. We're dealing with Sister Abigail. You gotta keep that in mind.
And that's why I didn't mention Scarlett Bordeaux either. It's like you could sit there and nitpick. We didn't mention her, but like,
When was the last time she wrestled?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
It's just eye candy for his entrance, for Cross's entrance. He's barely booked, so we don't even see that anymore.
I mean, the Final Testament should have died a horrible burning death, if we're being perfectly honest. Anyway, what did Emmanuel send me? I'll go ahead and finish the spiel post-main event topic discussion here for everybody, but courtesy of Emmanuel, and I quote, did the Bloodline story take too much time in... Hold up. Wow, it is a meaty question. I mean, already the answer is yes. But let me see here what he actually said. Give me a second because my phone sucks. I'm still working off a freaking 7 Plus. I refuse to spend multiple hundreds of dollars on our damn phone. At least that taxi. I know the importance of a phone, but don't get me started.
I'm with you, man. I keep a phone until it's no longer functional.
Well, unfortunately, this phone doesn't support iOS 16, and some of my apps that I essentially need are starting to only support that, Ticketmaster included. If it wasn't for the Google browser, I would not have been able to go see All Elite Wrestling, and that probably would have really pissed me off. So I have to accept the fact and wave the white flag. Come next tax season, I've got to invest in a new handheld device. Damn it. Anyway, let's see what he said here. Manuel said, and why is this not showing up all the way? What did you do? Oh, okay, here we go. I got it. And I quote, this is for everybody because I said so. But I'll start off. Well, hey, we're trying to go longer than the usual 90-minute plot. I mean, shoot. By the way, God bless both of you for doing what you did, and apologies for not waking up on time. Again, when you're stressed, you rest. Simple as that. Let's see. And I hope both your families have been doing well this week. God bless all of you. Natalie, hope you're doing well. Emmanuel said, did the Bloodline story take too much time in SmackDown? Almost 45 minutes plus than just talking. Well, WWE, you're more so watching a movie versus wrestling on a weekly period, just saying. With the beginning segment and end segment, I know it's the hottest storyline in the WWE right now, but it could have been one segment.
I don't know about it being one segment because I feel like you had to have the setup and then you had to have some time pass before you had the resolution. I don't know about it being one segment. I do feel that maybe the opening segment ran a little long. But I also think they really played it by ear, which is something that doesn't really happen these days. Everything is too scripted. I think they let them go out there and just kind of wing it. A couple of bullet points that they needed to touch on, but the whole Sammy, you love me. I think a lot of that stuff was ad-libbed.
Yeah, because if you looked at it close, Jimmy was cracking. He was cracking at the
You
end.
got
He was
all of
trying to
them.
keep it together. But
You got all of them, just like the whole feeling oozy thing. Which really made it feel like old times because Sammy broke the tribal chief. Not as visibly as he did for the Uzi thing, but you could tell he got him.
he even pointed it out. He said, I see that smirk.
So you had to have that so that when you had the resolution at the end of the night and Sammy, is he going to go ahead and side with him? Because Roman dissed him. He broke his heart. Or is Sammy going to say, you know what, screw you, Roman, I'm going to go with Solo? You had to have the two segments. But I do agree that the opening segment went a little longer than it needed to.
Yeah.
Did it go? I think it was great television, though. I thought, to Noah's point, it was cinema.
Yep.
People invest in that stuff.
They do. You've got to make people care about the characters, not just about the matches.
Character development is very important.
Why do I care about the people in the ring? You've got to be able to get invested on some level with them.
Yep.
And that's why I've always had a problem with AEW. They deliver banger matches, but they have a hard time making me care about certain people. WWE makes you care about the talent, but then they give you shit sometimes.
It's true.
It's been better since the Paul Levesque era has taken over. But they get you invested in these characters. That's why I stopped watching for 10 years. I would get invested in these characters just to see them lose time after time again. To the point where I was like, I'm done. I'm done investing my time and energy into these characters if they're never going to win the big one.
That was the problem with freaking Super Cena. I was like, damn it, if he's never gonna lose, there's no point in me watching this crap.
Exactly.
Yeah, just find a balance is all I gotta say. Like I said, I'm not a movie guy. I'm a full-on international, strong spirit, blah 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 type guy that more so is engaged in that. There needs to be a balance for me. WWE don't have that balance. And as far as the Bloodline goes, it's like anything else you watch on binge or something you invest in. Whether it's anime, whether it's the CW era, whether it's some sort of crime series that's 250 pretty much times over every crime series you've ever seen, or whether it's some sort of HBO Max series like Billions or Empire. You engage with it as long as you can until the main character dies or you have some sort of ending. So it's like, eh.
And I'll say, Manuel, I love you, buddy. All due respect. But if you think the bloodline is taking up too much television time, you haven't been watching the last 4 years. Then.
When have they not taken over television?
That's my point.
Madison Square Garden was more about watching the bloodline act than watching wrestling. Stop me when I'm telling lies.
And until we get Rock Roman, it's not going to end.
Nope. I guarantee you this is going to go all the way to WrestleMania 42 until we get that singles match. Yeah, I know. 41's next year. This is WWE, just saying.
I'm hoping it is 41, but you may be right.
Triple threat, and Cody isn't losing that title anytime soon, in my opinion. 200 plus days, by the way. Congratulations. But yeah, at the end of the day, in WWE, two things dominate television: Bloodline and Judgment Day. Gift glasses insert here. Deal with it or change the channel.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but Sammy bled more life into the bloodline more than Raquel has Judgment Day.
This is fair. Although Carlito might argue you there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, first he gotta learn Japanese or Chinese, and we can speak, and then he can argue with me.
Carlito needs a Rosetta Stone. But thank you, Emmanuel, for the $2 PayPal chat.
Yeah, I don't think I said thank you for mine. Yeah, so thank you.
Yes.
Always appreciate Dominguez.
Well, that is all the topics that I had scheduled. So we will go ahead. We'll run the watch along trailer uno mas. And if nobody else joins the panel, if no other topics get super chatted, we'll go ahead and start our shows. We will return.
And now for a taste of things to come.
All things wrestling, sports, other showcases, all things SRS, our things.
I don't know. I saw the Chamber of Toronto. Every time I see Toronto, I just think of that promo The Rock. They say, "Yay! He said Toronto. That's where we live."
Right.
That's the funniest crap.
Noah cracks me up because back in the day, you'd watch him in the green room, and he'd be like, "Yeah, yeah."
Oh, he did it! He did it when I had him in the background the other day.
Today he was just making faces.
Yeah,
It would be like the Japanese stuff, and you'd see the eyebrows go up, like, "Ooh, I'm intrigued." You'd see the sports ones or the WWE, and he'd just kind of go stoic.
Yeah, he was doing the cheering and stuff on the NXT whatever, and
like I said, guys, I am tired and I am on autopilot. You'll get the full thing some point. What's the next thing? I guess next week Saturday, because for once there's a freaking week of stability when it comes to. Wait, no, there isn't. Because
There's 2 watch-alongs, but nothing you have to do because it's Paul Tyson and then UFC.
Yeah, that's right. I'm confusing myself. This Saturday coming up, the only thing I got to worry about is Cyber Mon's 6th birthday. Yay! So yeah, but you'll get more energy out of me the next Saturday Shenanigans. I'm certain. I feel like I finally got over everything I needed to do, and this flu that tried to get me, and just today in general. I swear, Saturdays feel like an eternity anymore. It's ridiculous.
When they announced Chamber, I was like, yeah. And then I'm like, that's a double duty night. Damn it.
Oh, get over it. It's what we do. Hell, I pulled triple one time. I've called 3 shows in one day. All right, this is nothing.
I just love that they're under the same umbrella because look how early it is because they know they got UFC at night.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at it this way. WWE gives you 90 minutes of wait time, and then they give you about the same, if not a little bit less, than the wrestling. So you have plenty of time to, rest your voice in between. So that's the peacock for you, and WWE's over branding marketing.
I wish UFC would work on that, man. You pay a lot of money, and the first 20 minutes is all talk. It's like talk during the pre-shows that are the prelims that are free. Shut up and get to the fighting on the pay-per-view part.
Pay-per-view should only be about fighting and wrestling? What sort of strange phenomenon are you talking about when it comes to WWE and UFC?
Right?
What?
Well, that just about wraps things up. We'll go ahead. We'll start getting to the shills. You can follow James, the J Hebert side of things, at JHebertSide95 on YouTube, Instagram, and X, or James Heebman Hebert on Facebook. He does really cool and dumb teens on the internets. Go watch the first part of his uncle's documentary that is finally out. You can scan the QR code and check out Gary Hebert, the man, the myth, the legend, 1 in a million. Noah.
I may be tired, but I always encourage you here. So follow me if you choose on the Twitter, as far as it's still known as, and on YouTube. Although I'm going to learn about Blue Sky, I guess, at some point. That's what people seem to be going to, whatever the hell that is. But anyway, follow me for now on those engines. Adam Foster 9016 for all things wrestling. Instagram, it's only about when you have a picture that tells a story. So ain't going to see that for a while. But again, follow me on those if you choose. I only wish to remind you, encourage you, no matter what my state may be, to just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling too. It is truly as simple as that.
Well, we did get a super chat from Emmanuel.
He wants us to get the 2 hour mark.
Discuss the wait times for Crown Jewel. Why not?
You bastard.
Fuck Peacock, I guess.
I mean, fuck television. Fuck Peacock. Thank you, TNA, for having the perfect balance. AEW previews are always phenomenal, but sometimes you are running a marathon versus a sprint. So, I mean, there you go.
I will say one thing about that TNA app. When they're on commercials, it just says, we'll be back in a moment, and plays music and keeps resetting it. I'd rather watch a commercial than that.
Would you rather hear a music track on loop with no words or watch commercials? Let me think. Music track on loop, because at least when I'm going, number 2, I have something to hear in the background that keeps me awake, that I care about, versus cursing at commercials about the latest in shampoo or some sort of this versus that, support, blah, blah, blah.
Or maybe it's Maybelline.
Blah, blah, blah. I mean,
I don't say blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. The only time people appreciate commercials is during the Super Bowl.
Maybe.
This is accurate.
I have heard that tradition where people don't even give a fuck about the game. They just watch the commercials because they're the most politically paid and the most overproduced. I think more often than not, those car commercials are more overproduced than any other commercials during Super Bowls, at least according to what I've heard. And I don't drive. So... But yeah, wait times, Crown Jewel. Walter, how much WWE trivia on repeat did you get in between matches?
About 10 per. It's. I miss the packages they used to, and I get it. If you pay, you can see the pack. I miss those the rock and roll background music, and then they have the rivalry.
I thank my mother for encouraging me to pay the $6 just to get the video package in the background versus American Home Warranty and the same W trivia question 5 times over. But I think someone timed it at what, like an hour and some odd time or whatever of actual wait time versus in-ring action, something like that. So someone has the metrics, I'm sure. But anyway, oh fuck. Why?
Well, while you do that, let me get my shield out of the way so that we can just only have to answer the super chats.
They want us to go every week, every time, the length of at least an old school Monday Night Raw. They can't help themselves.
Oh my God, Grand Theft Auto.
Mamacita.
I see.
Stop it.
She didn't win this week, but
She got wasted, but her and Jada, the hell of a first. Go ahead.
I said the winners were us viewers Tuesday or Wednesday.
I agree.
So yeah, on X you can follow me at Walter Alex Cruz. In the Instagram, of course, the personal one, Walter.Cruz.940, and at Rage of Wrestling, the YouTube channel. Well, where we do all the shenanigans and the watch-alongs, and there's no space. You have to just put at Rage of Wrestling without the spaces.
No space.
It's faster to find. If you put the spaces, a bunch of different things will pop up. It's just easier to find without it.
I'm right there with Jeff. I love Virtue and Aaron's reaction every time that graphic comes up on the review.
I can only imagine what goes through their heads.
I can't wait till like one time he has his wife on there, Caitlin, and then they pull in. She's gonna be like, "What the?" She's gonna do the Natalie. What the fuck?
That's probably accurate.
Well, Jeff was here earlier. We'll go ahead and show for him. You can find him on Instagram and X at _Jeff Meacham, or on Facebook and YouTube at Jeff Meacham _. And then, of course, you can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, on Twitter, ROWJJ Williams, on YouTube, Casa D18 Studios. All kinds of stuff. Looking like there won't be any For the Love of Wrestlings for the near future, just because the fact that I've only been like off on Mondays and Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to like make it seem like I'm biased to WWE by only covering them. So if I can't get a week where I'm covering WWE and AEW and TNA and spreading the love across brands, then just not do it for the week, because I don't want to run into tribalism or anything like that.
F that term, and also respect.
I got it, man. It was $2, and oh my God, it's funny because me and Noah were talking about this. Noah, don't go. He just said, your thoughts on Speedball losing the X Division title again. What the F is TNA doing?
So, here's the thing.
Buy the shirt.
Yes. Speedball Mike Bailey is one of the best wrestlers you could ever watch in that ring. You have to look at it from a context standpoint. He's already been multiple-time X Division champion. He is a champion that truly defines the champion making the championship. He challenged Moose to challenge him. And you got to consider what Moose can use the X Division championship towards. Option C. Option C allows Moose to cash in, vacate the X Division championship for a shot at the TNA World Championship. An act like that makes more sense for a heel to use the opportunity towards than a face. And now Nick Nemeth has two people breathing down his neck towards that title, despite the fact he's facing Eddie Edwards at Turning Point. He's got Kazarian and he's got Moose. And both men have up to 1 year to use that opportunity. With Speedball, though, it's one of those things where I do wonder why he lost the title, but I'm not going to rant because, first off, Moose is underrated. Damn good 20-minute match. Go watch it. It's in full on TNA's YouTube channel, as me and Walter are TNA faithful. Respect, brother. But that being said, when it comes to Speedball, I am curious now what's next for him. And with the fall of Speedball Mountain, it sounds like he's going to have a few where he reminds Trent Seven what the value of professional wrestling is. I am kind of tired of seeing Speedball present these opportunities towards others and not being able to capitalize himself. But with Speedball, it's not about necessarily keeping the championship. It's about elevating it. And for the first time in a long time, we have an X Division champion that truly defines no limits in the former TNA heavyweight champion. But I do hope that Speedball does get that chance to challenge for the world championship again and obtain it. I still go back and watch him and Josh Alexander in their 60-minute classic on TV for free, might I add, when he came this close to winning. Speedball might be as a future TNA world champion. Mark my words, the same as Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I'm with you. When you think about that option C, it does make a lot of sense. That's the only thing I can get out of it. But I think Speedball is just moving on up to better things. I think next year you bring back the Feast or Fired. He wins the auto shot and he gets the title. He says when he wants the title and he wins the title. So sometime in 2025, when they bring that, is it Feast or Fire? I forget exactly how they call it. Am I saying it right?
It's Feast or Fired, and I should be scared by that because the keyword fired, I don't want to see anybody fired right now from TNA that's not named Concierge or Act by Elegance.
I know, but it might be somebody, whose contract's expiring and they pop up in NXT. Who knows? So if you're going to do that, that's the chance to get to it. But yeah, when they messed up, that almost set me off on a rant because the last time we got when they broke up, well, since Tatilla's in the chat, I'll say NOLA, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, it broke that up last time that they had it. Joya had to break up and
well, it wasn't a breakup. It was an excursion, and the Feast of Fire was more so a way to get him back to New Japan, where now he's part of just 4 guys. And he's out on injury, but he's had an incredible return back to New Japan Pro Wrestling, including winning the KLPW championship. But it is one of those things where I kind of wish Joya had more steam behind them because I love that gimmick in that song, despite how much it annoyed him back then. Probably still does. But it's one of those things where both men are doing their own thing and they're better for it, especially Joe Hendry, who, again, is probably the most over wrestler in 2024. Greatest music video ever. Ryan Nemeth's story. He's Nick Nemeth's brother. The end. That is the most hilarious. There's nothing else. Just his brother. He's just his brother, JJ. That's all Ryan Nemeth is.
I mean, that's truth.
Accurate.
No, name me a Ryan Nemeth accolade from AEW. I'll wait. Tell me how much TV time Ryan Nemeth had in AEW. I bet you his TNA run already exceeds it.
His accolade, he got clotheslined by JBL on the
I saw that live. He was.
You're proving my point, Noah.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
You got
but
me.
Yeah, I think Speedball gets on the better thing. I do. I'll put it out there. TNA World Champion 2025.
I'm torn who I want to see become TNA World Champion first. Speedball, Mike Bailey, or Joe Hendry. But if Grace and Hendry could be bound to the E, Lord help them, next year, then I think Speedball Mike Bailey is the perfect guy to lead TNA into their future where they've had probably the best years since the early 2000s.
Dude, Henry's contract is over. He might be the one to pick the fired case and he goes to WWE. And then you had both Joya members back to back pick the fired case.
How dare you?
It's a way to do it.
Yeah.
I do have two things I want to touch on from what Noah said real quickly because I missed this week's TNA.
Damn good show. Go for it.
So both of you mentioned using option C. Moose actually put out a tweet saying, quote, option C is one pretty much saying that the X Division Championship isn't as important as the TNA World Championship. Well, it's time to change that fucking narrative. I'm going to make the X Division title the most important and prestigious title in TNA. Trust the fucking system, face of the franchise.
Wow. I actually
not
got a
see
whole damn lot of respect towards that because I gotta be honest here. Moose is a guy that truly does love TNA, I think, and he wants to make it as special as possible. We saw what he did with the debunked TNA World Heavyweight Championship in the previous era, and he already ran as the face of TNA since Hard to Kill. Now he's trying to elevate the X Division Championship above the TNA World Championship. Shut me up. All right,
Yeah.
Moose. Respect.
Respect for that, definitely. Noah, take your PayPal too.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention is Noah talked about what a banner Alexander and Speedball had on free TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been keeping up with the announcements, Walter, but
Oh shit.
at Bloodsport 12, it will be Josh Alexander versus Speedball Mike Bailey.
This is Bloodsport, by the way, folks, not a wrestling match. It's a whole different concept, and Speedball does have a mixed martial arts background, but not the greatest Bloodsport record.
He has a victory though, the last one, but
So Walter and James will get to call this mayhem and destruction.
Mayhem and
we might have to
destruction.
invite Noah as a special guest for that one
The
match.
recipe of the night. But yeah, I mean, if Moose is trying to make the X Division Championship more important than the TNA World Championship, because Speedball already done that 3 times over, I think in the fact that he has won and held this title to a degree so much, and he doesn't need a championship to be the most prolific man to put TNA on the map, then yeah, I definitely credit Moose for not only pursuing this after being encouraged by Speedball to challenge for it, but try and elevate it beyond the World Championship. Because, again, what's the X Division? It's the one thing that has defined TNA since its existence above everything else in the business. Respect. I'm looking forward to this. I want to see Moose go the distance with this. I do. And we've seen the X Division Championship main event TNA pay-per-views before. Remember, No Surrender, it was Mustafa Ali and Chris Sabin that did the unthinkable since the early 2000s. Moose could very well do that.
We'll see. Moose, very much like Joker, he's a man of his word. So we'll see.
Then I don't trust the system, but I do trust Moose because Moose rarely lies.
Jeff,
Hi,
you're
Jeff.
since you just came in. Home from a King's victory, as your tag says.
Goddamn right. Go Kings go. I am the only member of this family that is yet to see a loss in person, so it must be something in the ginger. Anyway, yeah, it's a good night. It's a good night. Kings won. I got to see. I finally seen everybody I wanted to see at the games at least once this year, so I'm happy as a dicky bird right now. Kings are winning. They and now Columbus can go ahead and spank Anaheim's ass tomorrow, so it's all good. There you go. Oh, you're still on that jersey. I didn't realize. Actually, I'm not sorry. I take that back. What the hell's PayPal?
This the D2 jersey, okay? So
yes, that's fair.
Manual.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
okay.
Emmanuel's been hitting us all up.
He's trying.
Hey, well,
we actually just finished the shills,
and then he.
Of course, you
and
did.
Emmanuel has given some super chatted topics, so that's the only reason we're still on the air. Otherwise, we would have been off the air already.
Darn it, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I went and checked. I'm like, oh, they're still on. Well, shit, cool. Okay, well, since he super chatted me, thank you for the $4. I need the goddamn money.
Noah was next. He hadn't done his topic yet, I don't think.
Okay.
And
Oh,
then
that's
we'll
right,
go ahead
because
and you.
Walter started off with the TNA, and TNA being, of course, my passion. And yeah, but look,
No.
next time you and I call Multiverse United.
No, you know what though? It's funny. People are talking about the whole, the big topic on all the podcasts I listen to is that everybody that's an AEW die hard is talking about, oh well, they're blaming everything but their actual damn selves. It does not matter that WWE is as hot as it's ever been right now. If AEW's creative was worth a shit, then they wouldn't be tanking so bad in the ratings. That's just the bottom line. Whereas TNA, they're not doing any better or worse, but they're on that shit channel, and not everybody's been able to, rationalize the $10 a month for the access to it yet. But I've been a TNA Plus guy the whole year. Been a TNA fan even during the Hogan era. I was at the time a diehard Hulkamaniac. So I am glad that TNA is finally bouncing their ass back, and I would only hope that somebody with an AEW will like knock on the curly head and go, dude, we're gonna die here, no matter how much money you got. So
All right.
anyway, that's my opinion so far.
Well, interesting side tangent, considering we were mostly just talking about Moose wins X Division Championship, but I appreciate that.
I did not know Moose had been X Division champion. My brother brought me like a picture of current champions. I'm like, that looks like Moose, but I don't remember him winning the X Division title. It shows you how long I've been out of the freaking loop here.
He won it on Impact this week.
Okay, well, see, I haven't seen Impact this week, so there you go.
He's fair and square, and again, great 20-minute banger as TNA does their main events. Tremendous match, and he did it all on his own.
Good. You know, I'm not a hater of the system faction, but Moose doesn't need those guys.
Nope.
Those guys need the system. Moose doesn't.
Nope.
So anyway.
So what did Emmanuel send me? Also, thank you, Emmanuel, for bringing TNA talk. I always welcome that. And
absolutely.
TNA faithful for life. Just like
never a bad thing.
Nah, absolutely not. Again, TNA deserves that love. Best year they've had in a long time. I can't wait for Genesis. I hope they bring more names back. Classic shows. Anyway, sorry, side tangent again.
It's all out February.
Well, I mean, the January, I mean, that's the only thing so far for January, and I approve.
Well, I also just want them to book in February so he and I can get the karaoke day squared away, because that's the only company we don't have squared away for February, because Royal Rumble and the Australia show already booked.
Damn it. Anyway, what did Emmanuel send me? What the fuck question is this? It's not even wrestling.
That's the whole point.
What am I gonna do with this? This. And this feels like blasphemy to anybody that likes food, including me, despite how skinny I am. All right. He said, and I quote, "Should Thanksgiving be canceled and just go with Christmas at this point? Not having Thanksgiving decorations up."
Ooh.
So make me go on a rant. You
Okay,
guys
okay.
are all Facebook friends and saw what
Time out. He may have said to me, but I saw this man put a flag on the flag. So
He's definitely the one to answer. Absolutely.
Okay. Here's the thing here, and I'm going to speak first because of how passionate I am about this stuff. Number one, name me a traditional fucking Thanksgiving decoration.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, there isn't one. Aside from the bird that you put on a platter in front of your family to gorge on with gravy and potatoes and stuffing and catch the itis when you're done eating it.
Accurate.
There is no Thanksgiving decoration.
What do they call that? Forgive me on the butchering of the word here. Cornucopia?
That's a fall decoration, not a Thanksgiving decoration.
Okay, fair enough.
That's a general fall decoration. Autumn.
The closest thing is a paper plate where the kids trace their hand and make a turkey.
Yeah, exactly. So my point is there is jack diddly shit. So get the fuck over the whole get this Christmas shit out of my face because Thanksgiving ain't even here yet. That's one. And number two, if I can walk into stores prior to my birthday and buy Halloween shit, if I can walk into stores prior to Christmas and buy Valentine's shit, y'all can get off your fucking high horses when it comes to Christmas. The truth of the matter is this: we do not live in a prosperous society anymore where you can walk into a store on Black Friday, on December 1st, buy everything you need and call it a day. We live in a society where people have to scrimp and save and budget and buy things here, buy things there. So putting decorations out in stores 2 months prior so that, hey, I can buy a couple things with this paycheck. I can buy a couple things with the next paycheck. I can buy a couple things with the check after that. There is nothing fucking wrong with that. End discussion.
Oh my!
If anybody has a legitimate comeback to that, I am willing to entertain it and hear it. But I feel that those two arguments seal the deal on everything.
Now I'm just a simple man.
I wouldn't even try if I did have an argument.
I
I
got
don't-
nothing on that. Go ahead, Jeff.
I don't have an argument. I would just like to state to particularly Joanne's Fabrics and to the Walmart here locally. As a Santa ambassador, y'all are evil because y'all had that shit out before Halloween. And I walked into Joanne's. I had to have my friend drag me kicking and screaming out of the aisle that had like all the cool stuff that would be perfect in a photo shoot for Santa. I was like, you have no money, Meech. I don't care. I want the things. Y'all are evil. You retail people are evil. That's why I don't work retail no more, because I can't be that. I mean, I don't have a soul, so I can be evil by proxy, like by definition. But yeah, it was a tough. I walked into Joanne's on October 30th, and there was no Halloween stuff in sight, except for on clearance. So yeah, but no,
I'm still here. By the way, I just got handed dinner, so
gotcha.
God
damn, Darren, 10 o'clock. My goodness.
The only thing I like about retail are the day after Halloween because the dollar candies.
No,
Well,
for real.
The candy.
I don't know if they do it anymore.
No, they do.
It's so funny.
They do the
that
clearance.
you mentioned that.
50% off, at their Halloween. But continue, Jeff.
The first year I worked at Spirit Halloween, I ended up working 2 years there, or two seasons, I guess. This was back when the coolest lightsaber out there for the Walmart for the Star Wars folks was that $100 lightsaber that actually lit up. It was red. You can only find them in like Halloween stores and like the really hardcore stores. But I put one aside. My manager said, "Yeah, put it aside. You can buy it at the end. We get like the 50% off." Some motherfucker at work there bought it. I never found out who it was. And I was just screaming. I'm like, man, I got a budget. I don't have to worry about spending much money. Here I am, 10 years later, I bought one at work for a custom, didn't get any discount on it. I still rationalize spending $200, because I'm an idiot. So I love the discounts, but yeah, my family always celebrates Thanksgiving. We have people over, we go places or wherever the situation dictates, but yeah, there's never for as monumental as Thanksgiving is in this country, especially in the wrestling community as well, because we've got Survivor Series and Starrcade that have been around for generations now.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a damn thing you can find in the retail that is actually designed for specifically Thanksgiving, unless it's actually stamped on it. Happy Thanksgiving. It's like, okay, well, we did this on purpose.
Thanksgiving is just for fat people to get happy like me and to talk shit to your family you haven't seen in a while, because it's just basically shit talking.
It's shit talking, face stuffing, football ranting.
No, and it's one of those we have to pray to the NFL gods every year that the Cowboys and the Eagles don't play right before or on Thanksgiving Day, because then we can't go to my aunt's house. It's because she's an Eagles person and we're a Cowboys people, so it's Thanksgiving's a bitch.
Now, Thanksgiving here is always a blessing, and I've to echo first off, JJ7, my brother testified for Thanksgiving and Christmas are my two favorite holidays of the year. Thanksgiving is always that. My family, everybody I know, family, church, friends, workers, they say, Noah, you're too skinny. Noah, you're not eating enough. Noah, you have a hollow leg. Thanksgiving is the one time of the year where I think I probably eat more than probably a single week. I mean, because, yeah, I love the coma. You probably won't even see me on that Saturday because I'll be eating leftovers from Thanksgiving through Friday into Saturday. But I also just love the time-honored traditions that you have with it, too. It is when the family gets together. We gather around, we bless the food, we say 10 things we're grateful for, from my mom's cooking to what my sister brings over, to the joy that my home, especially now that I have this, has brought out in bringing the family together. These last two Thanksgivings have been some of the most joyous and grateful Thanksgivings in the entire span of my family's life, in my opinion.
It's awesome, man.
Especially when we played Pick Out afterwards, too. And
Every
I have my little Ella play, the PlayStation up here because I don't babysit, but the kids basically take over my office.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you don't look at Thanksgiving for a physical, decorative time. You look at Thanksgiving for a wholesome family time and the best meal you're going to have all year, and you look forward to that meal once again.
Yes.
Every year you don't end up in a coma is what you need to be thankful for, because damn it, we all eat enough to be in a diabetic coma.
What's a
The good
diabetic?
part about this year is I believe TNA has a pay-per-view on Friday, the 29th, correct?
Yes, Turning
Point. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we've got Thanksgiving, and we can't afford to have the itis because then we got Turning Point and Survivor Series back-to-back nights.
Oh,
So-
shoot, you're right. And I also have Wednesday night Thanksgiving Dynamite, because that's also become a thing. And those Thanksgiving Dynamites are sometimes a wild party.
Yes. So it'll be one of the, and you know, we're not going to be here this year. We're going to my uncle's place and see me because my mom's still recovering from her surgery. So we're going to be going out to see me to do the thing in this tiny little dining space. But it'll be like the genie in Aladdin, phenomenal cosmic dinner, little dining space.
And I mean, again, nobody does everything right up to the point of the holiday, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. My mom has been really going bit by bit by bit, getting the tins and all the ingredient stuff like that for the Thanksgiving meal. And as far as Christmas goes, if my mom's not going to Dollar Tree to get knickknacks already for Christmas, I would be absolutely shocked, because Christmas is one of those things that people don't do within the same month. And with no more Kmart, you can't do layaway anymore. So you got to get the stuff once it's there. And people, business-wise, know as soon as holiday passes, people are going to start investing in Christmas, whether it's gifts, decorations, or both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Walmart still does layaway though, so at least there's that.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is the day of the year the house has never smelled any better.
And I look forward to those smells every year. The strawberry banana cheesecake, fruit salad, the peach cobbler, the ham, the turkey, the green bean casserole, the mac and cheese with the 4 different cheeses decked up by my mother. God bless her. I mean, again, it is the most wonderful meal of the entire year, where people can't say, "No, you're not eating enough. Shut the fuck up. I just ate 3 plates."
Yeah. JJ will tell you.
It's the day of the one time of the year where gluttony's not a sin that day.
Amen. Yes, JJ.
He will. Go ahead. Jeff.
I was going to say, let Jeff speak. I did come on camera for a moment. I did have more to eat, but I just wanted to make a point really quickly.
What?
At the end of the day, if you really want to be a hater about it, all Thanksgiving is the declaration of Christmas.
That's fair.
Because we get the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and who is the very end of the parade? Every fucking
Santa Claus.
Santa
Claus, baby.
Oh,
and it's the day that most people put their Christmas trees up, or the day after.
No, most people usually do it on Black Friday. They'll go out, kill each other for the deals, and then put their tree up.
See, we don't do that here. We just put the tree up, and if we want something, I wait to either do it Cyber Monday online on Prime, or I take advantage of Prime Friday.
There you go. Yeah, JJ will tell you, as far as that, you talk about the smells throughout the houses.
Mm-hmm.
I have now, after living with him for a couple of years, I have taken to going to, usually it's Ralph's, because they usually have the best ones, at least out here anyway, and getting those scented pine cones.
Mm-hmm.
But I get them on Saturday because Thursday we've got the Thanksgiving smells in the air. Friday I don't go outside if I can help it, because Black Friday people is crazy.
That's fair.
So yeah, Saturday morning, the morning of Survivor Series, you'll probably see me with a euphoric smile on my face from the scented pine cones wafting through the office.
The scented pine cones.
Oh no, like, and it's funny, like. I would do those occasionally. Like nowadays, I'll either go get an actual candle, or I'll find there's a couple of websites I partake in that have like the scented room sprays, or like Bath and Body Works. God, they've got. They're still my Santa supplier and decorator as far as the smells go. So
my mom gets like the scented packs for like the autumn feel and the winter the vibes. She might do that again, but as far as like decoration and capturing holiday feelings, I leave that all up to my mother. I just provide the funds.
Oh, and I think it's Jeff's turn now, right? He got a super chat.
I did.
But bottom line, just to wrap this up, because first off, that was one of the greatest testimonies that JJ has ever given in the history.
Hell yeah, dude. He means it.
Respect, and it needed to be done. Emmanuel, Thanksgiving is not about decoration; it is about family celebration. Period.
And if you're a Boondocks fan, it's about the itis. And if you don't know, look that shit up because it is a real thing, folks.
Hell yeah.
Christmas
is
is
real.
my favorite time of year, and I always get defensive and ready to fight motherfuckers when they talk about, oh, can we get through this first? Can we get through this first? I don't hear y'all say it any other time of year.
Nope.
I don't hear people saying, can we get through Christmas before we get Valentine's Day? I don't hear people saying, can we get through Valentine's Day before we get Easter? I don't hear people saying, can we get through 4th of July before we get to Halloween? I only hear it with, can we get through Halloween before we get to Christmas? Eat a dick.
Before we switch topics, hang on.
Eat a dick, eat a dick, eat a motherfucking dick. That's a real song.
Either bring that energy to all holidays.
That's
or
right.
Make like Queen Elsa and let it go.
That's right. So JJ will appreciate this because he was around when I made this discovery of the lacking of these. Disneyland stopped a long time ago selling the Mickey-eared Santa hats. And when they did bring them back, they were adjustable. Did it fit my fat head? No, it's not to fit my fat head. So one of the reasons I bought these magnetic ears I told you guys about a couple months ago was because I had a Santa hat that I was in, and this is how it looks. So it looks really good. When I went out to the Ghirardelli store Tuesday, they have the new ones, Mickey hats in stock, and yes, they fit my head.
Nice.
Disney parks, Disney experiences. When you hire me back, just know there'll be a gripe. Just so you know. As far as Emmanuel's question, if you're watching in the chat room, Emmanuel, because I need clarification, because what he said was, with Survivor Series on the horizon, best and worst pay-per-view. I'm assuming he's asking about the best and worst Survivor Series pay-per-view. So I'll go ahead and answer in that vein. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and please let me know in the chat room because I can't see the chat room. So, for me, the best one is and will be 1998. I love that show. I know people think it's long. I know it takes forever, but it's the Deadly Games tournament. It's the Deadly Game tournament. It's the official coronation of The Rock as the guy. Okay, cool. It's a fun tournament. You get Sable winning the women's title. You get the Outlaws defending the tag titles. You get that fun tournament. You get the revelation that Shane McMahon's a heel. The Rock turns heel. It's such a great show. The other one I always look to is 2001, mainly because of what could have been. As fun as that show was, as much as I personally enjoy the Invasion storyline, that being the end of it, I also remember that one because it was the first major pay-per-view that aired after my car accident, and my family actually traveled to Oregon for Thanksgiving that year, and I was unable to go with them because I was still recovering. So I watched Survivor Series after Thanksgiving, including Thanksgiving as well, but I was by myself for that whole weekend. Other than my girlfriend coming to visit and help look over, make sure I didn't have another spill or concussion or something. So yeah, now 2001 for personal reasons, but 98 for the time it aired and just the quality of it was good for me.
JJ, you want to go next? What about you?
Since he took the two that I was going to go to,
Spreaders for life.
I will go ahead and list two others that I always kind of liked. There's not really one that I think was bad, per se. Survivor Series is one of those shows where I feel like there's no bad Survivor Series. There's just ones that aren't as good as others.
Accurate.
If that makes any sense.
It does.
So since he went with 98 and 01, I'm going to take their predecessors. Survivor Series 97, granted, it had the screw job. But top to bottom, it was still a pretty solid card. And even the match itself was a damn good match until the finish. And then I'm going to go with Survivor Series 2000, because while that may be a weaker one for a lot of people, it's always had a personal favorite match of mine where we had the Radicals versus Billy Gunn, China, K-Quick, and Road Dogg. And it was like, what could have been with that DX foursome?
And the only one that's still wrestling to this day is K-Quick.
Billy Gunn, Daddy Ass.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. AEW.
And neither man have aged, which is still
seriously
ridiculous. I don't know how that's possible.
But it was like the Outlaws found their way back to each other after feuding for all that time.
Their fallout.
China was running with Billy, and then K-Quick and Road Dogg were a thing. Not for too much longer, if I remember. I think Road Dogg got fired shortly after that. But
yeah,
I loved the whole K-Quick and Road Dogg getting rowdy dynamic. Like, that shit was just good. Two real G's, we about to get rowdy. You didn't know? You better call somebody.
Yeah. Dog got fired not too long after that, and Grandmaster Sexay in the spring of 01 also.
But then on the other side, you had the Radicals, man. You had arguably the last great defection.
Yes.
With Benoit, Malenko, Saturn, and Guerrero.
The turning of the century as well. So good stuff. I mean, I'm always going to have 2001 as a standout for reasons like Jeff talked about, especially looking back at it now. But you got to put also the first Elimination Chamber also out there as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was the first one that I was picking up because, again, that was a mainstay in itself, just seeing that structure. And, of course, Shawn Michaels having that massive moment in the Garden. But also...
with his shit tights.
I was just going to say that.
That freaking haircut.
I know. We're always going to talk about that. I know. Damn it.
Of course. He even talks about it and makes fun of it.
Well, he does, as he should.
I like Jericho's take on it. If you guys ever watch that video where Jericho talks about it, it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But two others that stand out for me because one had just one of those matches that I'm always going to remember. And I enjoyed that show for what it was. John Cena versus Triple H for Shawn Michaels, Survivor Series 2009.
Yes.
There is always going to be that match that stands out for me as one of my favorite different matches of all time. And I think I just enjoyed that show top to bottom. I really enjoyed the whole dynamic tradition of Survivor Series. And Kofi Kingston, he was the man of the night, being Mr. Survivor Series. Randy Orton, the legend killer at the time, building his legacy, of course. And overall, it was a great show. But to this day, and I will stand by it as Black and Gold for life, and also what could have been, and also second main roster. And to this day, NXT once again is restoring that same faith and that same joy and that same one-upsmanship for the women's division. It's got to be 2019. 2019 was honestly probably my favorite Survivor Series of all time because NXT kicked their ass
Yes, they did.
and rightfully so. And honestly, it was the best, thank you, Triple H, dynamic I saw with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. All three brands represent all the championships are on the line from each individual company. I still go back and look at Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole. Baby, Adam Cole, the MVP of WWE that year as the undisputed NXT champion, also held the benchmark. I think still does to a degree. Shayna Baszler, of course, having her freaking moment while she was NXT Women's Champion. It was just a phenomenal night for me as a wrestling fan. And honestly, that right there was, for me, the first take in a Triple H ran WWE because it treated the right brand with the most justice. So, yeah,
Yes.
I got to go with 2009 and 2019 for those reasons.
We're going to Walter. I completely spaced on this. 2018 for personal reasons. I was there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well,
And I also saw War Games that weekend for the first time, which was fucking cool. So
NXT War Games.
only
Yes.
Survivor Series I've ever been to in my life is my favorite one, and I was 7 years old. It's 1990. It's the only reason is because it's the only one I've ever been to.
Not
Plus,
a
it
bad
debuted
one
my
to.
favorite superstar ever.
And I said, not a bad one to be. Considering who debuted that night.
Mhm.
The Gobbledygooker, baby.
Good grief, that tradition.
Mad love to Hector Guerrero.
Yeah, Mr. Guerrero. But I missed those the classic elimination ones too. When like the winners had to meet at the end, and then it was just a mixed match.
Yeah.
Well,
Which one
it's
was
funny.
that?
They only
was
did that year. The final match of Survivor was only in 1990. So.
It was Warrior.
I wish they would do it more often.
Yeah.
Warrior, Hogan, and Tito against the entire Visionaries and DiBiase.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Hogan fucking seen it and fucking won it all.
Hogan and Warrior did it together. It was the both of them. Hey, Hogan must pose, brother.
Treated that shit like it was the Nexus.
It wasn't quite that bad, but it was pretty bad. Because it was 5-on-3, they shouldn't have. But Hogan, dude, nobody's beating Hogan and Warrior in 1990. It's not happening, brother.
No, not that time. No.
I do want to give a shout out though to Survivor Series 04, the only pay-per-view main evented by Maven.
Yes.
I was gonna shout out Survivor Series 2023 just because CM Punk coming back.
And
Nobody
that
thought-
was
awesome.
That was a moment.
But yeah, shout out to our boy Maven, man, rocking the Greg Cherry shirt on Tuesday. That was tremendous.
That was
I'm so
awesome.
happy for that. That was so funny.
And Walter, it wasn't 2022. It was 2023.
last year.
It was last year. I said 23.
23. No. He said last year he was good.
Okay, for some reason
I could have sworn he said 22 also. I heard the same thing Noah did.
I heard 23.
Okay, well, someone's gonna have to run back the tape. James, you know what to do after. But anyway, what the one that you went to, Jeff, was that the one that had like the whole 5 commentary thing and Bryan Danielson versus Brock Lesnar? Am I thinking of the previous year, and that was the same year with Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, where Ronda got
It was Charlotte and Ronda that year for sure, because the entire LA fan base turned on Ronda, and I swear to this day that led her departure. Her own crowd turned on her at the
That's
Staples
what set her
Center.
off, I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah,
I still maintain that's why she's not there anymore. Yep.
He never recovered after that. Yeah, I think that was also when they did like 6 commentators, and it was a clusterfuck worse than that one year of the Royal Rumble where we all tried to like.
But you got to remember, she was already kind of depressed after the 2 UFC, where she got her asses handed to her.
That was the thing though. She was happy being in WWE because she could be around something she loved. But you got to figure that happened that night. Danielson Lesnar, which shouldn't have been near as good as it was. My God. And Enzo's fucking stupid stunt that people still give me shit about and disliking to this day. It's like, dude, that fucker's banned from the building. Like, I can hate on that.
Accurate.
Because it's because of that he can't, I mean, he could skip that show if they went back, obviously, but that's a big reason why he's not on the full-time roster anymore, because he can't go into the arena if they come into LA. They gotta wait till they go to the freaking pond or something. It's so stupid of him. So, it's not that I dislike him anymore. It's like I'm over it, but the fact that, one of my dad's favorite acts can't be there. That was the reason. Yeah, see? Much like this fool almost got our camera broken at a UPW event. You heard me. Emmanuel was the reason we lost Ronda Rousey. So
because I started the crowd chanting, "You were Kurt's bitch" to Luther Reigns.
And Luther looked right at the camera, which actually was UPW was using our camera to do the ringside cam, and he smacked the shit out of that camera while Nagel was holding it, unfortunately for Mike, and just rocked him into next Tuesday. And the camera, it still worked somehow, even though like the lens piece and the rest of it were like sideways. It was like How is this fucking? We cut promos on that shit after that same
Speaking
night.
of smack the shit up, man, Luke Harper.
And to think,
smacked
we
the
didn't even know each other at that point.
I know, right? God, it's I mean, yeah, it's true. We did at that point. Yeah,
Dude,
I can't believe that shit was
Harper-
20 years ago. That shit floored. No, yeah, 20 years ago. That shit floored me, man.
Luke Harper gave my son. I was sitting close. He gave my son the most gentlest high five, and then saw me and smacked the living shit out of my hand. I will never forget when he did that. And he smiled. Luke Harper did that.
Oh, Luke Harper, yeah.
And he just smiled at me. That's what
Brody
always. I
Bro,
remember.
Brody's such a gentle giant. God, he was great.
He was
Oh,
so nice
I
to my
love that
son.
man.
He saw me smack the living shit out of me, and then just smiled.
Yeah,
That sounds like Luke.
I think overall, though, 2019 weekend with NXT TakeOver War Games and that Survivor Series stands out all time as my favorite for me in Survivor Series.
Yeah, as far as the worst, I mean, it's really hard to beat those mid 90s, like 93, 94, 95. Those shows were rough.
What about the one Chuck Norris was at?
That was 94. Yeah, that was rough. Like
Where he
like
did
okay.
like a roundhouse kick to Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, freaking missed it by a mile, and Jeff sold it like gangbusters. God bless Double J.
95 and the spark plug Hollies in there.
You don't talk about spark plugs.
So 94 was memorable only because it was the rise of Diesel. Because Backlund won the title, thanks to the Emmy award-winning job from Owen Hart there, selling to his mom, throwing the towel. Because he's so good. I miss him. But then Diesel won the title from Backlund in the Garden, and then Undertaker getting his finally his revenge on Yokozuna with the casket match, in which Yoko went into the casket at the 94, came back at WrestleMania, somehow gained 80 pounds or something. It's like, what the hell was in that casket, Yokozuna? My goodness.
Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes, Thanksgiving dinner. There you go. 95 was just a weird show. You had that one, that wild card elimination match where you had like heels and faces on the same team. It was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Throwing out
And
the
then,
book, apparently.
and then Brett and Diesel. That was a good match. Brett and Kevin had a really good match, and that was the start of Kevin's quasi heel turn before he left the WWF. 1993 pay-per-views period were just rough. It was a bad year.
At that point was just bad.
Yeah, but Survivor Series, it was like they could tell the luck experiment had failed. Like there was no doubt about it, and they put that tag match with him and the Steiners, and ended up being the Undertaker because Tonka got hurt.
The one was only famous because The Rock is his debut, but the pay-per-view itself sucked.
Yeah, 93. The one shining spot of 93 Survivor Series was the very, very beginning, that little seed being planted of Owen Hart's heel turn. Other than that, it's kind of a throwaway show.
Was 2020 the one that Lana won without being involved in the match at all? But you just
I think so, yeah. Yeah, that was the one. That was one of the few Thunderdome pay-per-views. It was just like,
I tell you who loves Survivor Series. Freaking Randy Orton. I think he was the sole survivor in like 3 of them damn things.
Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Survivor Series.
Yeah, of course. If you go back to 05, he was a sole survivor, and then Undertaker came for his soul out of that flaming casket. So maybe not a good memory.
Yeah, that's fair. And why it was holding up everybody's shoulders, and then the Undertaker wrecked the roster.
He had that, like, it was in that moment. It's like, okay, anybody that's below Randy, make sure they're not getting shit trickling down because he just shit his pants.
So he was wearing brown that night, or peach.
That's right. We went from Shawn Michaels in the shit pants in 02 to Randy Orton 05. There you go. It's a full circle.
Soul survived all his Survivor Series, and then and he carried a SummerSlam match. He had to wrestle himself, like, with no one. Like, look at that. Won a title, beat himself. There was nobody there to fight.
It was such a weird thing that belt took 5 months to get from New York to Toronto. That was a long journey for that poor belt.
I mean, I took a bus that was 6 hours from Detroit to Toronto. So I mean, about the same, probably.
Yeah, but 5 months? Just, I mean, with air currents, it kind of, I guess it's kind of hard.
It was probably easier to cross the border back then too. I don't know.
Well, you got to figure it's not like a championship can talk to people. Trying to negotiate transportation is difficult.
True.
And you
Stupid
felt
ass
how
shit.
heavy those belts are.
That's valid.
So
Especially
in
that
order
big
to
gold
get
belt.
the correct air current or the waves, the stream,
Oh my god!
it takes some
This is
work.
dumbass shit.
We're losing our minds here. So great question.
And then they all met in the middle with with the title Lita threw into the water, and then the title Stone Cold threw in the water. They just all met each other.
Of course, trashed the WWF Women's Championship. I mean,
Yeah, I saw the comment there. It's weird that Randy returned from that major back surgery injury last Survivor Series. Now he's not going to be part of this one. Nor is Punk, apparently, it looks like.
well, I don't know when we're going to see Punk again, quote unquote.
Valid.
He and McIntyre destroyed each other inside the first Hell in a Cell that mattered in WWE over the last decade, probably.
Well, other than Edge and Balor. Edge and Balor was
Come
good.
back at Royal Rumble as one of the
The
surprises.
WrestleMania, I'll give you that. WrestleMania 39.
Cody and Seth
Oh,
was
yeah.
a damn good Hell in a Cell with the
forgot.
torn pectoral.
I forgot.
And it wasn't Red Crate of Hate at that point, was it?
No,
Was it?
There you go.
No, I forget. Yeah, I forget what. Was it?
That was the year that they brought it. They changed it.
yeah, it was the first one where it wasn't the Red Crate of Hate.
Right, I remember that because I was like, when they announced Edge and Balor, it's like, oh, I'm going to see the Cell in person at Mania. Fuck me. And there it was.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it was no longer the milk crate. So, I mean, yeah, but again, that's also a different pay-per-view. So, I mean,
Made for a hell of a t-shirt, though.
Yes, it did.
I'm sure it did.
We talk
Well,
about that. I kind of missed the classic blue steel cage too, with the big ass holes you could put your foot through. I kind of missed that son of a bitch.
So as a fan, I do, but as a friend of workers, I'm glad it's gone.
Yeah,
that shit was lethal. Ask Mick Foley and his head. Oh.
Yeah, I can only imagine how much that hurt to take and how difficult that was to set up and maintain.
That shit was designed specifically for Hulk Hogan and King Kong Bundy. They just left it for whatever it was, 10 years.
Yeah. Well, some things are better off left in the past, and thankfully that and the milk crate are. So there you go.
Yeah.
But what's not in the past, actually what's in the future, are the upcoming watch-alongs that we have. And I don't think Jeff has seen the updated trailer with all the chaos added to it. So
I have not.
Take a look at this.
And now for a taste of things to come.
First of all the rest, and all the rest, and all the rest, and all the combat sports, all the sports. What the fuck is the PWG thing doing in there?
I was hoping you would catch that.
What?
I'm surprised Noah didn't say anything about it any of the other times I ran it.
Are we doing a retro watch along of that?
Abso-fucking-lutely. It'll be 20 years to the day of the original All-Star Weekend, the event where Jeff and the Renegade met for the first time.
What?
And that's why I didn't say anything, because I was like,
Something tells me this has a connection with JJ and Jeff.
So,
I mean,
okay.
Take a look at the graphic here just for
Right.
a moment. Like, soak this in. Look at bald-headed, full beard Brian Danielson.
Yep.
Right.
19 years ago.
Yep.
Right
Samoa
next
Joe.
to Jamie Noble.
Yep.
AJ Styles when he still had the farm boy Midwestern comb down hairstyle.
I personally enjoyed that most, honestly.
Look at
Generic.
God damn, look at these guys.
Look at
Jesus.
blonde-haired Chris Sabin. Look at Kevin Steen.
Oh my
El Generico
God.
and Kevin Steen. Let's freaking go.
Yep. Let's
Kevin
look at
Steen.
Chris Hero. Looking like
Frankie.
he just graduated from high school.
Right.
Look at Petey Williams.
Oh, Canada.
Freaking Frankie there in the middle looking pretty much the same except for the hair.
Christopher
attitude.
Daniels, who looks like he was half of these dudes' dad at that point.
No shit, right?
Is that Jamie Noble?
Yes.
Sweet.
Fucking Rocky Romero looks almost exactly the same too. Jesus Christ.
This was my PWG debut. Jeff had been
Yep.
going for a while prior to this. I don't
Yes.
don't remember how much longer, but probably about at least 3 to 6 months.
Rocktoberfest. So I think it was September of October of 2020. No, I take that back. I take that shit back. It was in June because July was reason for the season, the cage match with Frankie and Pierce.
Yes. Okay.
So June.
we've been going almost
a year. Yep.
But that was my inaugural PWG show. And that was the show where I first met this man.
Yep.
And then you figure 20 years later and look at what the friendship has grown into.
Crazy. Yeah.
He was doing his thing with no DQ. I started doing my thing. He had his falling out with no DQ, came to the Casa.
Yep.
We had our separation, came back to each other, spawned into the multiverse of media, then a little from YouTube and Google, spiraled it into the Simply Reliable Studios, but still working together, still churning out content together.
Crazy, man.
Still brothers 20 years later. So it was like, there is no way we could not.
Yeah.
And
It is.
I didn't go to night 2 where everything paid off.
Nor
He
did
was at
I.
the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I was.
I wasn't even at the Hall of Fame that year.
Yeah.
I was in my hotel room because it was like we spent enough on taxis and tickets for night 1. We're
Right.
not spending it at night 2 because we literally were staying in a hotel room right next to the Fox Hills Mall
Oh, okay.
because it was close enough to Staples
Yeah. Yep.
without being, too much in BFE.
That's true
And
because you
then-
guys were on the transit at that point. That's right. Yeah.
Then a taxi from there
Yeah.
to the JCC.
Yeah. Yeah. For perspective, my first show for PWG, like I said, Rocktoberfest June, was in Santa Ana. Lee and I drove down to that show. That was our first met. That was our first met CM Punk, who was a dick. Where I met Steve Corino, who was an absolute joy, despite them being on opposite sides of that conversation. Like you would, because Punk was the baby face and Corino was the heel, but CM Punk was a dick.
Cena was a dick when I met him too.
When did you meet John?
Like 03.
That's about right. That's about right. He was a heel. He when he was a heel, he was an asshole. But yeah, 20 years. That's crazy.
I was waiting, JJ, for Jeff to see that because I noticed the icon. I was like, I want to see if Jeff actually says something about this. And then I'm glad that you did my shtick because I'm tired, bro. But I was like, because my PWG history is just because I love all things wrestling. I look at like independent wrestling videos on YouTube still to this day for a living to learn more about the hidden gems I think that could be in this business, and several that I've kind of known before, like ROH, Kevin Steen, El Generico, Keith Lee, Dominate, J.J. Cole, and of course Candice LeRae. It was through YouTube clips of PWG matches that I learned those wrestlers first.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know if anybody else watched SmackDown like I finally did today.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah.
It was fucking weird seeing Bailey and Candace. I'm not gonna lie. That was like
That
old
was,
school
yeah,
SoCal
Davina
shit right there.
Rose and
Davina
Candice
Rose.
LeRae.
Davina
Candice LeRae.
Rose, yeah.
And
So I only
Davina
saw
Rose still going to this day. God bless her.
I only saw Bailey wrestle twice on the Indies as Davina, once against Candace and once against former friend of the channel, Lucky O'Shea, back in the day at both of Marquez's shows. So that was just kind of fun to see.
I do want to piggyback on something here since we had this little impromptu PWG conversation. It kind of throws back to a topic from last week.
Go for it.
When we announced the WWE ID thing and we were
Yeah.
talking about it, and James kind of was touching on the fact that WWE has always had this program.
Yes.
It just wasn't named as such, if you will.
Right.
And it really got me thinking after, going back. Because remember, I joined late last week, so I went back and rewatched the episode so I could kind of see everything that went on. And hearing him talk about that, it really got my brain thinking. So I went back and I Googled the show that Fit Finley was on for PWG. Because I remember seeing it. I just couldn't remember what it was, and it was a Bola tournament.
Yeah. Let's see that.
2011 Battle of Los Angeles. Now, I'm going to rattle off some of the names that were on this card that Fit Finley performed on, and tell me if they made anything of themselves, with WWE.
Yeah.
I'm just Chris Hero, Cassius Ono, Kevin Steen,
Kevin Owens,
El Generico,
Sami Zayn,
Claudio Castagnoli,
Cesaro,
Roderick Strong. Any of those guys ever make anything for themselves within the WWE system? Chris Hero maybe being the only exception.
I mean, he did compete a little while in NXT UK.
But he never really got over.
No.
Yeah.
Hence
Yeah.
why I said made anything of themselves. And then
So
also on that card, you had guys that maybe you heard of dabbling in TNA and Impact Wrestling. Oh, there's a guy named Eddie Edwards and another guy named Willie Mack.
Yeah.
Well, Willie Mack got
And there's a guy that's even performed in AEW by the name of Scorpio Sky.
Oh, yes.
SCU.
So
just one or two guys that actually made careers from themselves, right? The same show with Finley.
Well, and look at Fit Finley's son, David Finley. He's freaking going to be part of Wrestle Kingdom now, 2 years in a row, concerning a title that he basically made come to fruition after being in John Moxley and Ospreay last year, destroying their championship. So, Generations of Finley still going.
Jay, were you at that show, Mercedes?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I will forever remember it for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
Because it was a night where my markdom shone through. As I had to borrow a Sharpie from one of the boys so Finley could sign my program.
Yep. I remember talking about that.
And the boy I borrowed it from was Claudio.
Yes.
Who, Claudio I see on TV today would murder a motherfucker for asking him that. Thankfully, we knew him well enough back then, so he kind of let it pass.
He is something else.
But modern day Claudio would murder me for that.
Yeah, Claudio would stick that Sharpie up your nose, to your brain.
That'd be the most jealous thing he would do.
While Moxley reaches through my ear capsules to pull it out through the nostrils.
This is valid. John
Probably accurate, considering they're now called
Better than shining it up real nice, turning it sideways. Never mind.
I almost would rather have that, Walter. I don't think
no
it
kidding.
would be as painful.
Yeah.
And it would be easier to remove.
So I can't speak on Generico, but I know for a fact that Regal seen Steen at that show cemented. He's like, I'm signing this guy. I don't care what it takes. I'm signing this guy. So I'm sure he saw something in Generico, Sammy as well, but I was told for a fact that it was Regal seen Steen at Bola 2011. I was like, okay. I'm talking to Vince.
But yeah, you know, hearing James say that made me think about that night, and like,
yeah,
it makes perfect sense because 90% of those guys were a part of your NXT.
Damn it.
Yeah.
And the ones that weren't went to TNA.
Yep.
Willie Mack, former X Division champion.
Yep.
They made
Which
an impact.
I still can't tell you how proud it makes me that my boy
one
held
of us,
that
dude.
championship.
One of
And
us
not
from
that
the crowd.
variant of it, but still.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So cool.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so
it
when I
was-
realized it was the 20th anniversary, I'm like, dude, we have to do this.
I'm looking forward to this. This should be a lot of fun.
And I welcome everybody. I want the entire team there for that because Noah and James, they're the die-hard play-by-play guys. Like, they're gonna get off on this shit and seeing these matches. Walter,
Get off on this shit.
Walter has, I won't speak for you, but I don't think has ever seen indie wrestling of this caliber before.
Not of that
Because
caliber.
PWG was basically Ring of Honor West Coast.
No, very much so.
That was the joke at the time. Plus, we had the influx of TNA talent.
And actual Ring of Honor talent.
And then you had me and Jeff who were actually there.
Yeah. So
to
cool.
Speak from the fan standpoint.
Yep.
And believe it or not, Jeff, both nights of this are on YouTube in full on Johnny Storm's YouTube.
That's why. Okay, that makes sense.
Johnny
Okay.
Storm was a UK wrestler that performed on the show.
Yep.
So he probably got the permission from Gorilla to put the shows on his channel.
We hope so.
That's why we're going to do it.
Okay.
Because I can actually find the shows on YouTube for free. We don't have to pump them through a Discord or nothing.
That's awesome.
And we can all watch it together.
I have not watched that show since that show, and I will wait now. I will wait.
Seriously?
Damn.
I used to go back and watch it all the time because when I first would try to get people into Gorilla, that was one of the first shows I would show them because that was my first show.
I don't
People
own.
getting out of the way when Joe is fighting AJ Styles and Joe's about to fly, and me staying in my seat and having a 300-pound Samoan land at my feet because I didn't fucking move.
A little rough, yeah.
I learned for the next when Joe goes flying, you get the fuck out the way.
This is accurate.
Much like he does when somebody else goes
And
flying
if you
in.
go, and if you start going through some of the other shows, if we could actually find full copies of some of the other shows, you will see me very prominently throughout some of those.
Yes.
Because
What
I
was
was
the
on
show
the.
that?
Go ahead.
But what was the show that Daniels and AJ freaking went off on
Jason
Chris Hart?
Takes
Or what?
PWG.
Okay, that's what
It was
that's
the
right.
next month. It was May of 2005, Friday the 13th, 2005. They named the show Jason Takes PWG.
That's right. I'm
And it
getting the
was
signal.
Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles, and they went to a 60-minute time limit draw.
And they found JJ's friend at the time, became my friend later, and I ain't either one of our goddamn friends. Fuck that guy. But they just went off on it. It was beautiful. It was fun. I'm being told I need to remove and be off the air here because I do have stuff to do, unfortunately, with my mom being absent from the house tonight.
We're about to call it a night anyway.
About to say, we got a whole other hour, and let's end this thing. The lame
That's fair.
Monday Night Raw. I mean, great. But thank you again, D'Amico, for all of that, and thank you for the PWG history retrospective.
I love how the super chats just go off on these tangents.
We got a rant from JJ regarding the holidays. Just saying.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, Emmanuel, the next time you get a rant like that, it's gonna take more than $2.
I'm saying.
I didn't expect that.
That was passion right there, baby.
That's the passion that I showcase when I'm friggin' blasting something that I love or chastising something that I hate. That's NAF levels of passion right there.
At least he gave me $2. Noah gave a free one when we were doing NXT. I was like, damn, Noah, calm down. They gotta pay $25 for that.
Look. That Wednesday, I had a fucking nightmare day at work. My phone is a piece of shit. We were in ECW. I had to go Joey Styles at least some point during that night.
There you go.
Oh, good stuff.
Always.
As far as
go ahead, Jeff.
As far as shows for me, I'll be on Monday. I actually have a theme for Monday's show because of what day it is. Monday's Beaches Musings will be tribute to the troops. And that's but I'm not talking about the US military service folks either. So stay tuned for Monday's show.
There you go. And like I said, we had already gone through all the other shows. We even plugged your graphic as far as where people could find you.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So that all being said, for the simple man with the spectacular voice, for Jeff motherfucking Meacham, for Mr. Reliable, I am the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. Thanking everyone for joining us here this evening. We will see you guys next time.
Have a good night, folks.